Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
It's a little windy this afternoon, but we're going to warm up into the low 40s, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Winds swing to the northwest with a cold front tonight. Cloudy skies, evening wind-driven snow flurries, a dusting in spots. 21 degrees. Saturday, partly sunny, a couple of wandering snowflakes and a windy 29. 12 Saturday night. Sunday, sunny and 29. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for HVAC services, aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
And I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Annie Fry on this Friday. Hello, boys. How are you on the Manny Fry Show?
Great to see you again. It is a Friday, and therefore it is a great day.
Doing great.
I'm in my basement. I'm freezing. I watched a movie this morning. I had the day off of work, so I had a little extra time. My wife decided to pick up a substitute teaching job, which meant I had this alone time. And I watched a movie I know that she would hate and would not miss. And I watched One Battle After Another. It's that Leonardo DiCaprio movie that everyone said is going to win Best Movie for 2025. And I don't understand why people think that's the best movie of last year.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen it, nor have I heard anything about it. I've seen that it exists, but haven't watched it.
Well, you understand that it got a lot of hype, at least, right?
No,
like
I didn't even know that.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, people were saying this is the movie, and of course the acting and the performances are very good. You have some high-quality actors in it. Storyline, it was just okay, and I thought, how many times does this happen to me where I'll buy into the hype, and I'll see a movie and I'll think, it's just, I guess it's all right, but it's not like earth-shattering. It's not something I'm going to want to watch again anytime soon, and it's nothing I would recommend for someone to watch either, so... I wasted my morning, is what I'm trying to tell you. I feel like I wasted
last night
things.
through the morning, I watched a movie called Friendship. Let's just get this out of the way, with Paul Rudd and Tim Robinson. I think this came out probably about a year ago.
You know, I saw that one too. Right. What'd you think of it?
It is so frustrating. It's one of those movies where the main character, who you want to succeed, just makes terrible decision after terrible decision. And
right.
It just keeps getting worse until the end. And I'm not going to give away the end, but I can tell you that he doesn't stop making bad decisions. And
no.
It's also very funny, though.
You know, there were some pretty funny moments, and you have to like Tim Robinson because he's got a very specialized type of comedy. And if you like that type of comedy, I mean, that's the way to go. I think you'll find it's going to suit the entertainment you need for a couple of hours. But I don't know. I thought it was just okay, too. That one... I probably enjoyed watching that one over again before I would watch One Battle After Another.
Wow.
Again.
Okay.
Yeah. So, can I, another just general question for you. Do you think Elon Musk is on Twitter all day, or does he have other people he pays to retweet and post stuff on his behalf?
I think it's him. Yeah. Unless he has one guy who's his go-to guy, who he's like, yeah, you can post stuff every now and then, who's under my account. But I think it's generally him.
You think so? Because he's on it nonstop.
Yeah.
I mean, all day. There's no way a guy that busy can spend that much time on social media, right?
Unless it is your job, which it kind of is. I mean, part of his job is to keep that platform as relevant as possible. And so tweeting gets people talking about it, and it probably makes him money.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, it is his platform, and he wants to promote it, and I'm sure it gets a lot of people, interested and back on it. Let me bring up this one story, and I know we got a lot to get to in the show today. Jeff Monosso is going to join us here in 10 minutes or so. It says Moscow agrees with Donald Trump's view that Ukraine is holding up a peace deal to end the almost 4 years of fighting since Russia invaded its neighbor, Kremlin officials said on Thursday. So, do you think Russia is like that one friend who's always trying to start stuff inside the friend group, and they're saying things just to like the United States is playing both sides of this. They want both sides to get along. They just want to be done with this. And Russia's trying to be the one side that says USA likes me better, so I'm going to start something to prove USA likes me better, even though it might not be true. They're just trying to bring drama up for the sake of drama.
Yeah, you can never really trust what Russia's saying. I hear people criticize. I'm not going to say on any particular side of the aisle, although it would be probably more on the right side, criticize Ukraine and say they don't actually want to end the war. Zelensky is under emergency authorization to be president, so he doesn't want to end the war because then they'd actually have an election and he'd lose. And I hear that. And then you also can't trust anything Russia's saying. So you can criticize Ukraine. I'm not saying they're above criticism at all, but Russia never, ever is telling you the truth. They're telling you what Russia wants you to hear. So anything Putin says, you just have to take it with a grain of salt.
I do think that Ukraine wants to end the war. I don't buy any of the Ukraine doesn't want the war over, but I don't think Ukraine is willing to admit what the reality of the situation is on the ground and make the concessions necessary to actually end this war. I think what Ukraine is asking for is a bridge too far. And I agree with Ukraine. I understand why Ukraine feels that way, because if a country invaded the United States and took a chunk of the U.S. land, and then people say, "Come on, all right, we're just going to pause everything where it's at, and everybody gets where you're at," that would be awful. That would not sit well with me. But you have to realize, does Ukraine have the manpower and the ability to push Russia back out and reclaim everything? Because if they don't have that ability, if all they can do is fight Russia to a standstill, then it becomes a war of attrition, and it's just going to grind people up. If they had the power to push back, I think Russia would be a lot quicker to be offering peace concessions. But they don't. And so right now what you've got is Russia, who always, I think Carafano said this, they always want one more thing than you're willing to give in negotiations. Mm-hmm. And then Ukraine is not willing to give up the land, which is rightfully Ukraine's and wrongfully taken by Russia, to end the war. And that's why it's a stalemate, and that's why it's so difficult.
Speaking of war, then we got this thing going on in Iran right now. Do we have clip number 9, Brad? It's because this is Lindsey Graham, and I keep thinking about, okay, we still have what's going on in the Middle East. Venezuela, even though it's pretty much not really looked at as a war situation. But, Iran is just ticking up, and where it's at now, let's see what Lindsey Graham has to say about it.
There are a lot of headlines out there that are, in my view, not accurate. President Trump's resolve is not the question. The question is, when we do an operation like this, should it be bigger or smaller? I'm in the camp of bigger. Time will tell. I'm hopeful and optimistic that the regime days are numbered.
Okay, so let's go bigger, according to Lindsey Graham. You have Iran, and you have protests, and you got some pretty nasty people doing some pretty nasty things in Iran right now. And you see the headlines that say we're on the verge of striking them, as in getting involved. Okay, at what point do you look at Iran and say, we're just about to wrap up 2 big things? Do we really want to put another one on our plate right now? Or do you feel like you have to? Like, there's no question about it. It's always been on the back burner. And if we can just get rid of this one, our top 3 problems are gone and we can sleep easier at night.
Well, I'm shocked, first of all, to see that Lindsey Graham wants more military intervention.
Shocked, you say.
I thought when you started that clip, he was going to be saying we should not be doing things in foreign nations. We should not be carrying out military action. But he said the opposite, which is amazing to me. So if you can't catch the sarcasm, I don't think that his opinion goes super far on that issue. But he's Iran. I keep seeing reports. I don't know if you have, Ryan, that Trump was on the verge of doing something and that he pulled back because he just wants to be 100% sure, not 99%, 100% sure of what happens after he takes, if he were to take a military strike. And he doesn't know the answer to that yet fully, so he's going to hold back until he knows how it will play out after a military strike.
It's interesting. Right. It's very interesting because Iran is so much different than Venezuela because they don't know what the power structure is, and Iran is their government is ideologically driven. It is a religiously, ideologically driven government. And so if you take out the Ayatollah, you still have the number 2 guy who's going to be the same, and so on and so forth. So it's just a different situation. But man, Lindsey Graham, that man, there's not a war he doesn't like.
All right, so I have a multiple choice question for you. So that clip we played of Lindsey Graham, was it from A, 2026, B, 2022, C, 2018, D, 2014, or E, all of the above?
I'm going to go with E.
That's, I would say, a safe thing to do. Oh, by the way, before we go to break, we do have a YouTube live chat poll up. What's the chat poll for today?
Will the Supreme Court uphold Trump's ability to tariff? Yes or no? We kept watching for a result on this all week. We haven't gotten one yet, so we want to know what you think.
It doesn't look like there's one coming today from what I was reading on the Supreme Court blogs, meaning that it didn't look like they're getting the band back together for a big announcement. So it seems like it's not happening today, which people are reading into that, essentially. And we'll talk about it later in the show. The mindset is, if it was something that they were going to strike down, they would have done it quickly, but if they feel like it's status quo, then maybe they'll let it linger a little bit longer as they get their true decision ironed out, in the sense that they're getting all the paperwork and the crossing the T's and dotting the I's type of deal. So that could mean something, or it can mean nothing. I mean, that's the problem that we run into with all of this. Jeff Monosso from Fox News is going to join us here in a couple of minutes. That'll be pretty fun. A lot going on in Minnesota, a lot going on when it comes to ICE and them getting surrounded, some developments there. So we're going to have to talk about that with him. Go vote in the YouTube chat poll now. Will the Supreme Court uphold Trump's ability to tariff? It's a really good question. I can't wait to see how this one lines up. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Andy Fry, 97.1 FM Talk.
But you need it, yeah, you need it. All of this time, yeah.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw. When we meet our clients for the first time, they have built up a lifetime of savings. Their question is, what can we do with this money so we can live comfortably the rest of our lives? First, we develop a strategy to protect your nest egg from any market losses. Then we build your own personalized structured income plan that will generate you an income the rest of your life. We put you in control of your money.
You've earned it, and it's our job to make sure you enjoy it. Let our team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams. Call us now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. You will also get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 40 years. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Used to keep it cool, used to be a fool. All about the bounce in my step. Watch it on the news, what you gonna do? I could hit refresh and forget. Used to keep it cool.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Annie Fry. Happy to be with you on this Friday as we get so close to the weekend. Joining us now from Fox News Radio, Jeff Monosso. Hello, sir.
Hey, Ryan. How are you?
Good. Well, we talk about Minnesota a lot, it seems, in the past 5 years, 6 years. Do I understand? Do you have a background? Did you work in Minnesota?
Yeah, I did. I worked there for a couple of years in the Twin Cities before going off to New York, and the rest is history. But it was often a quiet town, and you know, a lot of the drama that we're seeing there today, and in 2020, none of that was there, and all of a sudden, it is the epicenter of chaos that we're seeing continue into another day.
So you're saying that you would be able at one time go to like downtown Minneapolis and a brick wouldn't be thrown at you, or you wouldn't get blocked in traffic by protesters. You're saying there was a time before that.
There was a time. Yeah, there was a time where police cooperated with the federal government, and you had a governor that also cooperated with federal law enforcement, and it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. I mean, with the violence escalating, last night again we saw protesters clashing with ICE outside that federal building. That's kind of the epicenter or ground zero, if you will, of the protest, unless something else pops up at a location somewhere else. But agitators trying to smash down a protective fence and shooting fireworks and throwing rocks at officers. And the cops were nowhere to be found because essentially they've been ordered to stand down and not assist. And so you've got this ICE operation with 3,000 officers there, we're told by DHS, trying to do immigration action, as well as trying to uncover more information on all the fraud that's happening in that state with DHS. And at the same time, they're having to protect themselves. They're having to be essentially street cops to do crowd control and all that kind of stuff. But we also saw protesters clashing with pro-ICE, anti-illegal immigration groups that have also showed up to Minneapolis. So that's going to be interesting to see if that grows. But it'll also be interesting to see whether or not President Trump makes good on that warning to use the Insurrection Act to deploy the military.
Yeah. And you're so interesting. I mean, even the Black Panthers are out there doing press conferences, it seems like, in Minneapolis. It's the strangest, like, different types of groups that are getting together on the streets. It's almost like a video game or a movie where you're looking at just lawlessness and people trying to uphold some sort of order. And at the same time, the people that are actually should be upholding order are standing down. It's such a weird dynamic of everything that's just playing around. And the sad thing is, we saw a similar thing happen just, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, when the cities started to burn. And their reaction was similar back then, too. Their reaction was, we need to defund the police, was their answer to de-escalate things. And that didn't work last time, and they're trying to do it again.
Yeah, so this isn't a partisan comment at all. Doesn't matter what side you're on. It's just the truth that the governor, Tim Walz, and Mayor Fry back in 2020, they did, in fact, allow that city to burn. They did, in fact, allow the 3rd Precinct police station to burn to the ground with no intervention. they let it happen. And so look, whether or not we're also dealing with a different president in Trump 2.0. I don't see him allowing that to get to that point. But the rhetoric continues to be amped up, as well as the violence in recent days. And today you had about 30 Democratic representatives gathering in the Twin Cities to talk about the ongoing ICE operations. Essentially, it was a special hearing, a field hearing, if you will, in which Ilhan Omar of Minneapolis called what ICE is doing authoritarian and saying we're witnessing right now unprecedented action. That there's now a modern precedent for the level of federal overreach carried out in the name of law enforcement. And so there's this real hard attack from the left coming down on law enforcement. And we heard from Jacob Fry yesterday, the mayor, as he talked about, he was flanked by the police chief. And as he talked about, requests that are coming in that Minneapolis police officers now start arresting ICE agents and essentially doing battle with them. And you saw it's a viral video. You saw the police chief's eyebrows just raised, kind of like, what? So that wouldn't have happened during my time there. It just wouldn't have. And
I have to imagine. Well, I was going to say the people that live there, just people that wanted to, I don't know, live a regular life without this happening all the time. They got to be so fed up with everything that's happening.
Well, we're seeing that, and we're seeing that in polling too. What is it? A 70-30 issue, 20-80 issue, maybe 90-10. John Fetterman, a Democrat, Pennsylvania, now saying, "Look, it's really a pragmatic issue. I mean, we want a sealed border, and people that are here creating crimes, committing crimes, and creating chaos that aren't supposed to be here, send them back." The latest shooting was Wednesday, in which ICE agents were targeting an illegal immigrant, and in which the officer. An officer was attacked by two other individuals with a shovel and some other things, and he ended up firing a defensive shot, according to DHS, hitting that guy and what the guy he was seeking, who was striking him in the leg. And turns out those three know each other. They're Venezuelan nationals and likely gang members and criminals. And they're on their way. But it was that shooting for which the protests in recent days ramped up. So these protesters are protesting over these guys, and there's going to be people out there that say, look, these are individuals. They're coming here for a better life, yada yada yada, and then others that are just looking at it, scratching their heads, going, this is insane.
I'm going to bring up an example from 2020. And I know it's going to be a little bit different. Joining us here, by the way, Jeff Monosso, Fox News Radio. So back in 2020, and we saw the riots that happened in Minneapolis that kind of spurred many other riots and protests throughout the United States during that time. When we started to look at it from a different altitude and kind of get a bigger picture of it, we realized that a lot of this discord and hate for one another was originating from, like, trolls in Russia and other, like India and these other countries, China, we found later that they were buying ads on Facebook and trying to get opposing sides to hate each other and show up to hate each other. That all got revealed, and I know that Facebook and social media has kind of changed their tune. They said, just like Al Franken said, you couldn't figure out that if people were buying ads in rubles, that there was something going on here, like if they're organizing protests. So now we back up, and it's 2026, and I thought we'd learn our lesson. But we have the governor and mayor in tandem. They are not backing down. They are, I don't want to use the word inciting these sort of people, but they're enabling them to say that we are on your side to fight police and ICE. And I feel like we've learned nothing. Like it's the people in charge in that state and city are enabling and almost egging on the people to continue on this path. And it just frustrates me.
We've learned a ton. We've learned a ton, and we've learned that, who benefited from the 2020 riots. who benefited, who lost because of the 2020 riots and the chaos over COVID? President Trump, who benefited from that? China, and some say, people who disagree with President Trump. Who's going to benefit if who thinks they might benefit if the chaos continues? And this is the story that's just sucking up all the energy and all the air and creating chaos to where Americans just kind of get sick and tired of seeing this violence and chaos. One would think that there's power in division, and so we've learned that people fuel division over power, and so we've heard from Kash Patel, the FBI director, and others within the administration saying somebody's funding these protests. They're not organic. And while Minneapolis, the Twin Cities, is a liberal bastion, and it's solid blue, a lot of people are coming in and protesting, and these protests, whether it's Minneapolis or anywhere else, being fueled by funding, and so that's going to be interesting to see if they can get to the bottom of that. But they're just always remember when you see stories like these that somebody's fueling these, because power is the division amongst Americans. It means power to some, and we can dissect what's happening there right now, Ryan, at a later date. But right now you've got about 3,000 officers on the ground that are doing their job, and and you've got hundreds, perhaps thousands of protesters being fueled by the rhetoric of city leaders that are saying, you put your body in front of these people and fight and don't let down, don't give up, or let don't stop the push, and that translates to some as go in and be violent, and we'll see where it goes, but we've heard from DHS and ICE that are accusing Democrats of allowing far left rioters to attack federal officers, and then you've got that warning from the president. There are also going to be protests over the weekend, including a group that's going to be marching over the fraud in Minnesota. So this is kind of a conservative group, and that's one of the stories that's been buried by this noise, and so is that one of the reasons why it's so loud? The noise is because this other story was so huge that it forced a sitting governor to quit his reelection bid, and now you've got impeachment efforts on him. You've got the DOJ and others coming into Minneapolis saying, "Oh, we're tracking everything down. We're tracking down the paperwork, names." Hundreds of whistleblowers coming forward, including Democrats, saying Walz knew all about it. His lieutenant governor used to run an anti-fraud unit. Should have known all about it. She did know all about it, according to whistleblowers. And $9 billion have been stolen. Minneapolis Airport now taken over by the feds. They're looking at all the employment records. They're looking at and other data, because we now know that millions and millions of dollars in cash have been flown out of that airport in the last couple of years. That's more than JFK. That's more than LAX. You can't do that. I mean, $10,000, I think, is the cap on what you can travel with, but millions of dollars, who's allowing that to happen? And so the story is going to get huge. But right now we're not talking about it because of the noise being fueled by the very same people that the Department of Justice is looking at. And so not making any predictions, but the protests and all that stuff, that's going to go away. The billions of dollars in fraud, that's not going away. And there's a lot of accountability that taxpayers in Minnesota have said they want. Yeah. And we'll see if they get it.
I was going to say, unless during the protests they burn down a building and they say, "Oh, all that money just happened to be in there and it got burnt up and lost." Jeff, I say that tongue in cheek based on the Leering Center or whatever it was. Jeff Monosso, Fox News Radio. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
You got it, Ryan.
I'm Ryan Ranker, filling in for Annie Fry, 97.1 FM Talk.
Keep it light, stay out of the fight. No one's gonna listen to me. If I write a song, preaching what is wrong.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-478-6430 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-478-6430. That's 800-478-6430. What do you have to lose? Call 800-478-6430. Again, 800-478-6430.
Now that we're getting older, we've been putting more thought into maintaining our health.
We knew the water we drink every day could be filled with contaminants, so
We called Leaf Home Water Solutions.
they came to our home and did a free water test and gave us the analysis right away.
We were shocked at what we saw.
They found heavy metals like iron and copper.
Our own tap water was putting our health at risk, but Leaf Home Water Solutions made it easy to get safer water from every tap and hose. A whole home solution.
They have more than 250 product combinations and designed a system that fits our needs and budget. The installation took less than a day.
With Leaf Home Water Solutions, our water is safer and healthier. When we drink, when we cook, when we shower, even when we garden.
We feel better about our health.
Thanks to Leaf Home Water Solutions.
Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
Today is Friday, which means it's your last day to win free tickets to see Jimmy Fallon in person on the 24th. That is next Saturday, I believe. Next Saturday. So tickets are going fast for this show. If you go and check right now, you can probably still find a few together, but if you want to win them, today's the day. So I'm going to tell you that at about between 1:30 and 1:50, right in there, we're going to give away that last pair of tickets that we have today. I do believe Mark Reardon has one more during his show as well. It is 12:34. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
From the gateway city to the front lines of freedom. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Don't feel like going home, but all my cash is gone. Yeah, I got nothing to do tonight. I'm passed out on the floor, up in the hotel bar, but it don't matter 'cause I'm feeling fine. I'm thinking life's too short, it's passing by. So if I'm gonna
I wanted to let this song play out a little bit because I can't tell if it's country or if it's pop. Okay, now it's country. I can hear it now.
Get a little
when the banjos kick in.
Yeah.
Banjos or whatever it may be. What is that song? It's kind of a special
I don't know.
there.
I picked it out and I can't remember the name. Don't want to go
never
home,
heard it
I
before.
think.
Yeah, that's nice. Well, I heard that and I thought, okay, is there a theme today? Because sometimes I know you like to do themes, but not so much.
Not this hour. There may be one in the 1 p.m. hour.
Ooh, nice. All right. So Gavin Newsom has a podcast. I don't know if you've ever listened. I'm sure you all subscribe and really want to hear what Gavin Newsom thinks about certain topics. But there's one guest that may be of interest. Ben Shapiro joined him recently, and there's a couple of clips we should play. Let's start with clip number 1, if we could.
Then your press office tweeted out that it was state-sponsored terrorism, which, I mean, Governor, I do have to ask you about that.
Yeah.
That sort of thing makes our politics worse.
Yeah.
I mean, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, our ICE officers obviously are not terrorists.
Yeah.
A tragic situation is not state-sponsored terrorism.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. But you called ICE state-sponsored terrorism. Do you think that Gavin Newsom and, a lot of these other Democrats, the ones that are trying to be quote unquote centric, like hey, I'm going to make myself look like I'm more of an independent than I'm a Democrat, as in, I've lived my whole life being super radical, but compared to some others that are further left than me, I am now center of the aisle, which, is a big branding lie. But you think that's what he's trying to do? He's like, I'll at least admit when I have made a fault calling ICE agents terrorists. I'll admit to that, but it's only because he thinks that makes him look neutral.
Well, I don't even know if it's that well thought through. I think it's because that's who happens to be sitting in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
He says anything based on whatever's happening 5 feet from in front of his nose. And I mean, you talk about a sailboat. Whatever way the wind is blowing, that's the way he's going. He has no principles. And I will give him credit for one thing. He sits down in long-form podcasts with people who don't necessarily, well, definitely don't agree with him. And he does interviews sort of with hostile media, which very, very few Democrats do anymore. He's able to get by with it because he's slick and because he does that. He just agrees with whatever the person with him is saying.
Well, what's interesting about this clip is right before Ben Shapiro said that, Gavin Newsom was talking about how Trump needs to calm his rhetoric down and that's inflaming things. And Ben Shapiro's like, yeah, but... And then he pointed... Now, this isn't Gavin Newsom himself that's tweeting this out. This is his press team, his social media team. But, does Gavin Newsom not know what his people are sending out?
As in, he has no... not so much knowledge, but he doesn't have perhaps the strategy set by him that they follow a certain guidelines of what they say and don't say. I'm sure he's calculated enough that anything that goes out there is on a list of things that are approved. Another thing you brought up was the whole thing with the Supreme Court hearing arguments when it comes to transgender biological males competing in female sports. And this is clip number 6. And it's more of a general, we can't even, like Josh Hawley, we played the clip yesterday of Senator Hawley. And you have OBGYNs that are testifying in front of Congress that refuse to answer a question, what is a woman? And Ben Shapiro asked this to Gavin Newsom. This is clip
fundamental 6. Question that lies at the root of all of this is the question that you're not wanting to answer, which is whether can become girls.
Yeah, I think I'm for the grace of God. Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate the sympathy. I also feel terrible for anybody who's suffering with any sort of
I think it's been the case for
terrible,
generations, for time immemorial. God bless. I don't know how.
Why is this a hard one? I just don't understand.
Because I don't know why it's such a. Why is it such a? I'm curious. I understand the political potency of it.
It's not just politically potent,
but it's just how. It's so few. We're talking about so few people.
It's not about
that are struggling with gender identity issues. A lot of remarkable people, a lot of wildly successful people, and they've gone on their life, have incredible lives. I don't know. There's so much hate and bigotry, so much condemnation,
this is the part where I start to object.
Yeah.
Okay. The idea that
you may not be spewing it.
No.
Like some others. Trust me.
But
this is the business they're in.
There are lots of terrible people who say lots of terrible things, but
yes.
It is not an act of bigotry to say that a boy cannot become a girl, nor should my children be taught in K through 12 public schools that a boy can become a girl.
Yeah.
That is not an act of bigotry. That's an act of rationality and biological simplicity.
Well, isn't that interesting that Newsom tries to play this? Well, obviously, it's not you. It's not me. It's not you. We're talking about other people that will go unnamed, where he tries to de-escalate it that way. And then he still refuses to answer the question. And I think Ben Shapiro lays it out pretty quickly. This is why it's a problem. And Newsom still doesn't want to grapple with the reality of the situation.
One of the things I noticed in there, too, is Newsom used this strategy of I don't understand why you guys care about this so much. It's such a small percentage of the population. But if you think back, it wasn't the GOP, it wasn't Republicans, and it wasn't conservatives inviting trans people to the White House and doing a Trans Day of Visibility. It wasn't the GOP pushing this stuff into classrooms. It wasn't. Everything that you've heard from conservatives and even non-conservatives on this issue has been pushed back to something that we never brought up. We didn't start this. The reason we care about it, the reason this is on our radar is because the activists on the left put this on our radar.
And strategically also, Gavin Newsom hops around because he does hit that He does say there are people out there who are full of hate, not us. Not you and me in this room.
Yeah.
So we're not going to debate that here because it's not us, but it's other people. And then he also uses a strategy to create victimhood again and say, because of that hate, the people that we're talking about have had incredibly difficult lives. They've also had very successful lives somehow, but they've been very, very hated upon. And he ignores, and he jumps around so much that it's probably a little difficult to pick one for Ben Shapiro to jump in on and debate him on. But if you were to make that the point, which he kind of does, which is that trans people are the victims of our society, you could ask him the question, well, what about the victims that they've created? Because that's part of the problem, too. You can't just give rights unless you're losing other people's rights. And that's what's at the Supreme Court literally right now. Speaking of it not being that big of a deal, it's at the Supreme Court. And they're asking that question, well, whose rights get defended? Because if you give trans people rights to just join the opposite gender's sports, then other people lose rights. So, yeah, you can be compassionate, but you got to consider everybody. You can't just pick one person and say these people are the victims.
So I'm going to relate this to Jesse Jackson. Do you remember that one South Park episode where they had to go kiss his ring to like make up for a comment that was a Stan did on Wheel of Fortune or something like that? Do you remember that? Do you remember that wild episode?
I don't remember it.
Brad, do you remember that one?
I remember the moment on the Wheel of Fortune. I didn't realize that. I've never seen that in context.
Okay, so the rest of the episode, so it's Wheel of Fortune. Okay, I don't want to say what it is, but if you know, you know. You're laughing right now. But the rest of the episode is he's got to go kiss Jesse Jackson's ring to make good, because that's the only way, after you have a blunder or do something bad that may be racist, that the only way you can recover is if you go to Jesse Jackson and kiss his ring, and or no, it wasn't his ring, it was kiss his butt. Like he literally presented his butt. And if I remember correctly, now this is a while ago, and it kind of gives these type of vibes, as in, why do you, like, Gavin Newsom may be the worst example of someone that would be the arbitrator, the judge of who I would want to say, oh, you're cool, like with the rest of us. Oh, don't worry, you're cool. Not you. It's everyone else we're talking about, but not you. As in, why do I need to go to Gavin Newsom to try to justify myself as if for some reason he has the ultimate authority to pick who is a bigot and not, who's a racist and not, who's this or that, all these different terms that the left have done. And that's kind of a general tactic the left uses, which is you have to sympathize and bend your knee to us, otherwise you are this other thing, which is we just have to ignore that they are somehow the arbitrator of that truth, because they're not, and they're using it as a manipulation tactic.
Yeah, this has been a really, I will just give the thumbs up to Gavin Newsom in one way. He's willing to have these conversations that he knows will go viral and look a little bit like a buffoon in them, actually. I wish more leftists would do this. I wish more leftists would go on even just like Fox News. Yeah. And there's a handful that will, but not many. And they are usually the more centrist ones who are doing I know the progressives in my party, they go pretty far, but here's where we're at.
Yeah, his goal here is to paint himself as reasonable and willing to have a conversation because he wants to run for president.
Yeah, I think that there are those instances, those shows. I'll give the not so much the 5, but Greg Gutfeld's show at night, because it's more like we'll joke about these certain things, and then we'll just move on to another topic, because we're not going to try to use it as a way to dunk on each other. It's just us having a conversation. Same thing, and if you look at it on the other side, Bill Maher's like that too. He's just like, you're just going to talk about this thing, and I don't care. Like, you're not going to offend me, the things you say, and I might question you on it, but we're just gonna have the conversation in the context that I think the left is normally in the roundtables they're normally in. It's them trying to slam the other person. So this type of conversation stuff doesn't always work when it comes to left-centric type of content or content generators. But I guess you're right. I'm not going as far as saying let's give Gavin Newsom some credit here. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say it was nice to see a conversation. Well, we got more clips. We can play it later in the show. Maybe we'll revisit this at some point, because I know Wiggins America is coming up after the break.
That's right.
I'm Ryan Recker. I'm looking forward to this. Coming up, 97.1 FM Talk.
Hey, it's your main man, Jimmy Fallon, and I am headed your way. Saturday, January 24th at the Factory in Chesterfield. We are defunding the joke police. So grab your tickets at 971fmtalk.com/events, and I will see you in the loo.
St. Jude exceeds any expectation or any dream I could have ever had about a hospital. First was getting David here to save his life. But then I was told we wouldn't get a bill. I didn't quite process that. How's this possible? It's possible through all the wonderful people who donate.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. If you think about that, I mean, go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine.
The research here is research that we share with everyone else because overall we want to help all children that have cancer. What makes that possible is people that give to St. Jude. They really help us to fulfill our mission, and we're so grateful to have them on our team.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Are you nearing retirement and wondering if you're truly prepared? Sue Thomas here, and when it comes to retirement planning, keep in mind Financial and Tax Architects, FTA, has helped families all across St. Louis plan to retire with clarity and confidence. FTA specializes in creating tax-efficient retirement strategies, showing you how and when to claim Social Security, and building an income plan designed to last as long as you do. Now, they have a Retirement Planning 101 class. It is eye-opening. It's 2.5 hours. It's offered on campuses of colleges throughout the area, no cost or obligation. But you're going to learn how to avoid costly mistakes, reduce unnecessary taxes, and make your money work smarter in retirement. Call 314-888-5101 or visit fta-ria.com to reserve your seat today. Space fills quickly, so don't wait. Take that first step toward a more confident retirement.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Wiggins. Oh, Wiggins.
The Bee or Not the Bee.
All right, what we have here is a segment called The Bee or Not the Bee because I have a bunch of news stories. Some of them are fake from the Babylon Bee. These would be satire news. The rest of them are real. I'm going to read a headline, Ryan Recker, and then you and Brad will tell me whether you think it's real or fake, whether it's the Bee or not the Bee.
Awesome.
Ready? Here we go. First one. Candace Owens suggests Charlie Kirk was a time traveler.
I think that's real. I believe that's real.
I feel like this is real, too.
This is real. This is happening. I'll read the story to you that agents followed Charlie Kirk since he was young to change an outcome is what, I don't know what the outcome is. I would not, you'd think it would be Charlie Kirk not being dead. But Candace Owens said that, well, here's the quote. Why did Charlie Kirk think he was a time traveler? He said, as I showed you in earlier messages, that he was a time traveler and that he had to find me, being Candace Owens.
Can we stop taking her seriously now?
Well, how do you know that's false?
How do you know?
Just playing the odds here, guys.
How would we know? Like, so what would be the way to confirm to Candace Owens that he indeed was not a time traveler? How would you portray that in a way that it would debunk what she's saying?
I think you'd have to have a message from Charlie Kirk that said, I am not a time traveler and I'm not being paid by Mossad to say this.
But here's the thing. Like, here's the trap that everybody falls into. It's not incumbent on us to debunk that. That's freaking crazy. It's incumbent on her to prove it. She's the one making the claim. Otherwise, I could say Ryan likes to eat vegetables. I have to prove that. It's not on Ryan to disprove that. Right?
All right. Well, that's fine. I'm going to continue.
It doesn't make you look
eat.
bad eating vegetables. I mean,
but the person making the claim is the one responsible for proving it.
When
Let's
it's
go
outside,
time travel together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. Yeah, she should prove that she can time travel, or that somebody can time travel, and then I'll maybe believe her, because that's just step one. All right, next story is Star Trek Federation survives Klingons, Borg, and the Wrath of Khan, but can't survive woke.
Oh, no.
It's a headline from the future, I believe. That's got to be B, of course, but I don't know, because there could be a storyline, because I'm not up on all the old Star Trek stuff anymore.
That sounds like a real story with a B headline, so I'm going to say B.
No, this is a real story because a brand new Star Trek show has come out that is being so panned that apparently they put it out for free on YouTube, the first episode, Paramount did, and only 1,300 people watched it live.
That's awful.
And it looks really bad. Now, after a full day up on Paramount, 30,000 people had watched it, which for the premiere of a brand new Star Trek franchise show is terrible. And it seems that many even were tuning in to make fun of it because the word had gotten out that it was really bad. Here I have a clip from the show, and I'll set it up for you, where a gay female officer lectures the cadets on what it means to be open-minded and embrace your suffering. Here you go.
Being a cadet in Starfleet Academy means being open to the people around you. And that connection is where time and space really live.
I don't need connection.
Yeah. You're a genius who owns all the suffering.
It's that last line, man. You own all the suffering. The rest of us can't have any suffering because you own it all.
Oh, no.
That's the theme of the new show. It is being widely panned by everybody. It is a shock because guess what? As a Star Trek fan, I can tell you one of the most popular, I think the most popular show in the franchise of the last 10 years is Star Trek Brave New Worlds. And that is the one that is killing it. They're still making new shows. It is great, and it is completely non-woke.
Wait, is that the one with Pike?
That's
is
the one with Pike.
Captain?
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of the first season, and I really enjoyed it.
Sorry, I said Brave New Worlds.
So can I just mention something real quick? I had to go to YouTube, and I wanted to look up the comments that Candace Owens made about Charlie Kirk being a time traveler. 1.3 million views streamed live yesterday. Look at the difference between Star Trek, a production from Paramount Plus, getting 30,000 views on their stream versus 1.3 million, Candace Owens making a comment like that in the same period. That, to me, shows you just how far Star Trek has fallen.
Yeah, and how much Candace Owens has risen.
She writes compelling fiction. What can I say?
Very good. Yeah, oh, by the way, one of those is a little cheaper to make than the other one. Candace Owens,
exactly.
Content
sitting in front of a camera,
Content
a little
wins.
cheaper than the multi-million dollars that Star Trek or Paramount's putting into that series. All right, next one. 5-year-old brought in to explain difference between boys and girls to Supreme Court.
Please be B. But you know what? Maybe they could use it.
B. It's got to be B. One of these has got to be B.
This is the B. Finally, I got to a B story. Quote, boys have wee-wees and girls have VVs, said Hunter Plath, a 5-year-old boy from Iowa. According to court records, Justice Sonia Sotomayor and Ketanji Brown Jackson were seemingly astonished, saying, oh. Associate Justice Kavanaugh only giggled. Law experts believe the court will eventually uphold the right of states to enforce their own laws on transgender athletes, especially if the liberal justice can find out what a wee-wee is. Do we have time for one more real quick?
Yeah, we got a little bit more than a minute.
All right, Bill Clinton says he'll gladly testify on Epstein case just as soon as he gets back from this cool island.
Not the B.
This is the B. I seen the picture.
Not the B.
It's him looking kind of naughty in the picture. Yeah, it is the B. Quote, my fellow Americans, began the president his message to prosecutors. I barely knew that Epstein fellow, and I don't know anything about any illegal activity he was engaged in, but whatever information I have, I can definitely share. Just wait for me to get back. I'm still on island time. When prosecutors asked which island he was at, Bill Clinton replied by simply saying, that's classified, former presidential privilege.
You know, it could be B, and it's also not at the same time. I think that could be in both categories here. He's hiding somewhere. I mean, he's not testifying.
He's not testifying.
He's on some island.
And neither is Hillary.
They sent Steve Bannon to jail for that
and
same
Peter
thing.
Navarro.
For that very same thing. Lock him up.
Now, with Bill Clinton, it's
Ooh,
complicated. With Hillary Clinton, it is not.
Why is it complicated?
Because he was the former president.
Yeah, but you'd have to explain why that was in his official duties as president to be on the Epstein Island.
But that adds complications. But yes, I
right.
agree.
Dr. Jacob Olidoort is going to join us after the break. Don't go anywhere. 97.1 FM Talk.
I'm William Shatner. I've been around a long time, but I'm truly humbled when I see the real battles our brave, paralyzed veterans have faced defending our freedom. And when they come home.
I had just come home from serving over in Germany. Next thing I know, it was 3 weeks later. I was paralyzed.
While parachuting with my platoon, my parachute didn't open, and I broke my neck. It left me paralyzed for the rest of my life.
I was on a routine patrol, and we were in the desert of Kuwait, and the vehicle flipped and landed on top of me, which left me paralyzed from the waist down.
Okay, folks, this is heroism. That's why I'm proud to support Paralyzed Veterans of America, because they've kept their promise to never leave a fallen soldier behind. A roof over their heads, accessible homes, cars, jobs, benefits.
PVA has brought me back to life.
Show them their sacrifice hasn't been in vain. Go to PVA.org to learn how you can make a difference.
If you're the victim of a car accident or suffered a work injury in St. Louis, you want attorneys who live here and work here to handle your case. You want someone who knows St. Louis and is about St. Louis. You want Kaufman Townsley. Call 314-777-7777.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from Michael's Bass. You've upgraded the kitchen, you've invested in your home, so why settle for a bathroom that still feels ordinary? At Michael's Bass, they create elevated bathroom spaces that blend luxury, comfort, and smart design, all tailored to the way you live. This isn't a temporary fix or a quick cover-up. It's a complete transformation, built to last and built to add value to your home. And now is the perfect time to plan for a spring installation. Visit michaelsbass.com or call 636-775-0800. Ask about financing options, including 0% interest. Michael's Bass.
I do appreciate all the referrals that we receive daily. It is phenomenal. I've said it. I can't say it enough how much I do appreciate the referrals. With that being said, if you do refer me, you're in great hands. I will not sell homeowners that work hard for their money, just like myself, crap that they do not need. But if you want good quality, man, you can't even say cheap anymore. I don't think I can even say cheap by the... You can't even go by price. Okay, that's another commercial. Call me, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Remember, it's the only number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B. Inman with an I.com.
If you're trying to sell your home, there's only one group of agents in town I trust, Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. My friends Mark and Neil have the best system, options, and strategies to connect you to the best qualified buyers, getting your home sold fast and for top dollar. Check out thegelmanteam.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
On Iran. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The president just answering questions about why he apparently decided against a military strike on Iran, at least for now, after offering public support for protesters there and suggesting the U.S. could strike over mass killings.
Nobody convinced me. I convinced myself. You had yesterday scheduled over 800 hangings. They didn't hang anyone. They canceled the hangings.
He says that had a big impact, but he still isn't ruling out U.S. intervention. The president also not ruling out using the Insurrection Act and troops to respond to violent anti-ICE protests in Minnesota, but he says he doesn't think there's a reason to use it right now. Protests have escalated after a deadly shooting last week.
Order would be restored, and I will make this prediction, if those federal agents left. As soon as they leave, we will have peace.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry at a Democrat field hearing held by members of Congress in St. Paul.
If they can erode the rights of some, they can do it to you.
No one is safe.
Washington State Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal among those accusing federal agents of using unconstitutional tactics. The White House says ICE agents are enforcing immigration laws and that sanctuary city policies and Democrat rhetoric are fueling violence and safety risks. A high-profile pardon on the way.
Former Puerto Rico Governor Wanda Vazquez Garcet is getting a pardon from President Trump, according to White House officials who tell Fox News her co-defendants are also getting pardoned and that the entire case against her is an example of political prosecution. They also mentioned the investigation into Vasquez began 10 days after she endorsed President Trump in 2020.
Fox's Lillian Wu. Vasquez was later charged with bribery and pleaded guilty last year to a campaign finance violation. America is listening to Fox News.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
It's a little windy this afternoon, but we're going to warm up into the low 40s, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Winds swing to the northwest with a cold front tonight. Cloudy skies, evening wind-driven snow flurries, a dusting in spots. 21 degrees. Saturday, partly sunny, a couple of wandering snowflakes and a windy 29. 12 Saturday night. Sunday, sunny and 29. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 56 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance and installation, and heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. AirComfortService.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Rain.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
And I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Annie Fry today. Make sure to go vote now in our YouTube live chat poll. Will the Supreme Court uphold Trump's ability to tariff? It's simple yes or no. Go vote for that now. Hopefully you can drop us a comment while you're there, too. Joining us now is the Chief Research Officer and Director of American Security at America First Policy Institute, Dr. Jacob Olidoort. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
So we're talking about Iran, and we had Fox News at the top of the hour there play the quote from Donald Trump saying they had all these hangings they were going to punish people in Iran for, and they decided to cancel them, and that has to do with the United States pressure that we've seen so far and the threat of U.S. action of what could be happening in Iran. We see these protests. We see these, innocent people getting shot, slaughtered, some terrible videos posted online. What do you think the United States' best course of action should be with Iran right now?
Yeah, no, it's a very hot time. And of course, nobody knows exactly what the president is thinking if and when the United States decides to weigh in and how. And of course, the only historical reference that I could point to is, last summer where, some have pointed out the fact that, we sort of did play this game, will he, won't he kind of thing. I mean, I've written, if I were in the room, what I would prescribe, what I would advise. My view is, look, there is a possibility, given the regime's state today, and it's the weakest it's been in its history, given the campaign, the necessary military campaign that Israel has waged against its leadership and its capabilities, and including Operation Midnight Hammer last summer. It's the weakest it's been in its history. there is a possibility somewhere here the regime could collapse. It's not the same as it used to be. And so my recommendation is, as we think about that as a possible scenario, we need to think, and if we decide to weigh in militarily, let's think about what our objective is. And for me, that would be to prevent the regime actually from reemerging within that chaos. Because what happens the day after, we're not in a position right now. It's too early to tell, as the president has said, where the opposition is, where anybody is, should that eventuality happen. So we need to preserve the American interests there and prevent Iran, the regime, from coming back, which, if it does, would be far more ruthless and lethal. And so that's what we need to focus on, in my view, my personal view.
Iran, they've been a problem for a long time. We know there's a couple of our enemies that are, they got their backs up against the wall. They're on the ropes. Here's what I don't want to happen. I don't want, like let's say, for example, Ukraine and Russia wraps up. And let's say there is some sort of agreement there where they have a long-term ceasefire or a peace deal. That would be great. I don't want to see Russia and Iran just immediately start trading resources because they're like, oh, okay, I don't have to worry about Ukraine anymore. Russia says we're going to start, pumping more back into Iran. They are going to be vulnerable. They are vulnerable right now. This is an opportunity for the United States and Israel and our allies in that region. And Iran is always going to be bad actors in the state that they are in. So there is an opportunity there for long-term peace, in the sense that the United States, if they don't have to worry about Iran in the long term, that would be really good for us.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. And you hit the nail on the head there. It's whatever we do, if we decide to do something in Iran, we have the opportunity to act geopolitically, because that will have ripple effects with Russia, with China. The Venezuela piece has already sent a message to China about Taiwan. So that's for sure the case. And as we know about these relationships between Iran, Russia, and China, they're one-way streets. It's all Russia, China acquiring, very little of giving. I mean, the S-300, S-400 systems, we saw how effective those were when Israel took them out. But pretty much, they're not going to give anything much more beyond that. And so if they see Iran taken off the table, the regime taken off the table, that significantly weakens their hands and again, puts the United States in a better position to make peace around the world.
Okay, let's just say hypothetically. Hypothetically, the United States military assesses where Iran's at, and they say it would only take one strike to put them in that position. Do you take the one strike, or is that just too much intervention?
Well, it's a good question, and I guess how you ask the question is particularly important, because is it about the strike itself? Maybe it's two or three, but what's the nature of those strikes? And I think, we've all read different news reporting out there, but we know about the president, given recent strikes that he's made in different parts of the world. Look at Soleimani in the first term. Look at Operation Midnight Hammer. It has to be decisive, whatever you do, because if it's not decisive, then that, to your, I think the question you're not asking, but we don't want to be dragged into a prolonged conflict anywhere. But to prevent that, sometimes you need something decisive to happen, which is kind of what I alluded to in my writing. But again, I have my own thoughts and my own advice on where that could be most decisive. But again, it depends on what objective we set for ourselves and how we're thinking about the issue. And I think, on that point, it's important to help the Iranian people, of course, but the American interest goes much broader and it's far-reaching. And so I think thinking in those terms should help guide those conversations.
Okay, let's look at how the past couple of presidents have handled this, and maybe we can look at the course of action. And joining us here is Dr. Jacob Olidoort. He's the Chief Research Officer and Director of American Security at America First Policy Institute. You can find him online. By the way, your social media handles, what are they?
Absolutely. J. Olidoort is my X handle, and that's pretty much the one that I'm active on. So, yeah.
Perfect.
And America
so
First
let's say
Policy is our website.
Yeah, AmericaFirstPolicy.com. So let's look at how they handle these. So you have President Trump, and, in the past, he's been very quick to say, you better calm yourselves before you better check yourself before you wreck yourself, kind of a type of with different countries. And the thing is, he actually follows up with it with action. He doesn't play around.
Right.
Let's go back to President Obama, which is we can take their word for it. If we give them a bunch of money, then they won't have any need to go and attack anyone else. Like we can just make them self-sufficient. We can trust that they're going to enrich themselves in their nuclear programs and not use it for weapons. We can just trust it because if we have a financial backing there, then they won't have the incentive to go and try to, hate everyone. And then you have Joe Biden in the sense he didn't really do much of anything. His thing is, let's just sit this one out. And it continued to allow them to grow. And he kind of took okay, we're going to keep the route of President Obama, and we're going to pretend that's working. So you have different methods of looking at this over a very short amount of time. We had 3 different presidents handling it differently. So what's to say a 4th president comes in and doesn't mess all this up, and it just reverts back to a regime, and something else comes up in the future?
Right. No, I think that was a great summary of kind of recent history. And, Biden had no plan. It's kind of Obama had a plan. It was a very evil and flawed plan on many respects, but it was basically the assumption that you have a moderate regime, obviously, or you have moderates in the regime, which obviously is nonsense, and that you can negotiate with them. Mm-hmm. But Biden, when that fell apart and the regime didn't want to revive that deal, Biden didn't have any backup plan, and so it was even worse in some ways. But I think what's happening now is even more interesting, I think more historic. And it's the president, like on so many issues around the world, is redefining both, the issue itself, creating opportunities out of it, but also really mitigating all the challenges. And so with Iran, for decades now, the big issue was the nuclear threat and what's going to happen with it. And basically, it was Israel first, and then the United States sensed this is an urgent possibility, and Israel would get obviously the first blow. They basically eliminated it. And the program, and it's not just the program, it's the scientific knowledge, it's the launching capabilities, it's the generals. That was last summer. And so Iran is in a very different place, even from in terms of a mindset and a capability standpoint. You look now, and this is really picking up, these protests, 31 provinces. The death toll is extremely high at different ranges depending on where you look. But I think what they're capable of, you see they're drawing now on their militias in Iraq and elsewhere to help them because they simply can't do it themselves. And so that is an indication of whatever we do now and however this goes in the next year, I think, will define what Iran looks like really going forward. It'll be a very different situation.
You think there'll ever be a time when Iran will turn the corner and we can look at them as somewhat of an ally? Is that even something that's on the radar in the next 40 years, let's say?
I think not this present regime. I think they have a single drive, and it's not, even let's call them pragmatists among them. They have a single defining ideology from their beginning that has made that impossible. And we are the target of that ideology, in fact. Yeah. The president himself is a literal target. And so me personally, I don't see it happening. Certainly not an ally, but not even really a, even kind of working relationship of a partner nation.
Yeah. That's a better way to put it.
But to your point, that was the president's offer to them time and again. Iran can be a great country. If you remember a year or two ago, we want you guys to be better. We want your people to live better, and we want to give you that chance diplomatically before we do militarily. Of course, we took the latter route, and that shows the intentions of this regime. It's not because we don't want to. It's because they don't want that for the Iranian people.
Right. Well, if people wanted to look you up online, I know you have your most recent article up there, U.S. action in Iran should prevent regime's return. And, different articles that you write, where can they go for that?
Absolutely. So our website, and you can access, we have 20-something policy areas across healthcare, economy, obviously national security that I work in, AI, AmericaFirstPolicy.com. My X handle is Olidoort. We've been around. We're a small 501c3. We don't speak on behalf of the president, but many of us, myself included, came out of the first Trump administration, and we're America First. And we're elevating the policies that matter to the everyday American worker, American families, and making the world a safer place for them.
Great. Dr. Jacob Olidoort, and you can find him online, the website, AmericaFirstPolicy.com. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate the time.
Thank you for having me. look forward to joining again. Thank you.
I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Andy Fry on 97.1 FM Talk.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. There's never a good time for your heating system to stop working. If yours does, no matter what time or day, Air Comfort Service offers 24/7 emergency HVAC service. Contact our award-winning team for 5-star heating service and stay in your comfort zone. For heating and 24/7 emergency service, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation at aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from Michael's Bass. You've upgraded the kitchen, you've invested in your home, so why settle for a bathroom that still feels ordinary? At Michael's Bass, they create elevated bathroom spaces that blend luxury, comfort, and smart design, all tailored to the way you live. This isn't a temporary fix or a quick cover-up. It's a complete transformation, built to last and built to add value to your home. And now is the perfect time to plan for a spring installation. Visit michaelsbass.com or call 636-775-0800. Ask about financing options, including 0% interest. michaelsbass.com.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
The Annie Fry Show is St. Louis conservative.
Baby, baby, don't go.
This reminds me of that dating website commercial. Stuff like that. Is the theme this hour dating website commercial music?
No, it is not.
Okay.
Do you have a theme, though?
A little bit.
I don't even know this song.
Although I'm not sure if the first song that played
Was
the
part of
song-
the theme?
Was the song that I picked out. Sometimes it does that. It won't take the cart number.
Okay.
It was December 1963, Frankie Valli or whatever. Is
Yeah. That actually was the song I picked out.
Okay, good. Was it Oh What a Night? What's the name? Is that the song? Okay.
Yep, December 1963. Oh, what a night.
Okay. And does this have something to do with nights? Maybe. I guess I'll have to get some more samples.
Midnight Train
here
to
figure it out.
Georgia.
Uh-oh, I think we got a theme.
I think I figured it out. We're on to you. We're on to
It's
It
nighttime
sounded
in
like
the afternoon on the Annie Fry Show.
Ryan Wiggins, you'd be good at like a pillow talk nighttime jazz show, I think.
Thanks. That's
If
why
you
I got
really
an
wanted to.
entertainment.
Ever want to think about Ryan doing pillow
Yep,
talk?
I wanted to do sex stuff. That's why I got an entertainment. But
Wait, what? No, that has nothing to do with it.
Oh.
Pillow talk is wind down, go to sleep type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's going to relax you. Why did you go straight to the sexy stuff?
Because that's pillow talk. You know, that's after the fact. You do the pillow talk.
We're thinking of two different things here.
Oh.
I think.
That's what. That's not why I got an entertainment. I don't care about that kind then.
By the way,
He's
in
like,
the
I don't
comment
like that calm
section, I don't want to look at the comment section after that. So, by the YouTube chat poll right now, how's that going?
Going right along. I don't have a number in front of me.
I'll give you this, Ryan. We tend to not check the results during the show because we don't want it to skew our conversation about it until the end.
Yeah, okay.
Sometimes we will peek at it just if we're curious, but we tend to not.
Yeah,
okay.
Like yesterday, we all were no's on that, and the vast majority of our listeners were yeses. So
Yeah, right on the other side. I saw this from Market Watch. A bunch of other different economists are bringing up the Supreme Court and what could happen with the tariff ruling. And the idea that they're not like rushing to get a ruling out quickly. Normally, if the Supreme Court would rush to get a ruling, it would indicate that they're going to flip it. Like they got to make a change immediately because it's different than what's going on. But the fact that they're kind of waiting to put this out indicates that maybe the odds are they're going to rule that the tariffs can stay for now. Maybe there's other options out there. Maybe the Supreme Court's going to encourage Congress to address this, and they're not going to take action on it. Maybe that's what their action's going to be. It just means that at this point, they may not explicitly say the president has this type of authority, but it doesn't sound like they're going to overturn what he did, and it doesn't sound like they're going to ask for a refund. So that's going to be a win for Donald Trump, I think, if that's the case, the action they're going towards.
Do you think that is what's going to happen? Because Brad and I actually had a long conversation about this after the show yesterday, which is why we said, let's do the poll on that. But you think that this means that they're going to leave it in place and Trump can use it?
I think that this is what I think. One, I can imagine you guys sitting back in the office and you're smoking your little pipes, but it's like bubbles inside of it, kind of what they give to children.
Smoking jacket, and robes.
Yeah, and your robes are on, and you're having this nice long conversation. Yeah, they're really big pipes. I mean, we're not plastic, obviously.
Comically large.
And you're having these conversations. That's what I think is going to happen, and that's what I believe would be the likely scenario. Now, I don't know if this would open the door for the next tariff that goes in is the next challenge that comes in. But I think, if anything, the Supreme Court has indicated that Congress has to address this, not them. So that's what I think they're going to try to encourage, and they're not going to reverse anything that's been done.
I said the same thing to Brad yesterday, and I'm not sure where we both came down on it, but I said, to me, it's an encouragement. If you wanted him to be able to use the tariffs, it's an encouragement to see that this ruling has taken so long, because I truly believe that these justices, maybe not all of them, maybe not your Alitos and your Thomases, but and maybe not even Kavanaugh. But I said you're three on the left for sure. Just because it's Trump, they're going to overrule it because that's what they do. They're not ideologically driven, or they are fully ideologically driven.
Yeah,
the other way. So you got the three, and then you got Roberts and you got Barrett, who are kind of in the middle. Who I think both of them, according to the questions back when they did the hearing, sounded like they were very skeptical that the president had this power. And so there's your five right there. If you needed to overrule it, there's five. And you could have Gorsuch even join him if he's like, well, this is not explicitly implied by, he's very letter of the law, which is great. But Kavanaugh asked a really, really important question in those hearings that blew up everything. And I don't even know if he intended to. Do you know what I'm referring to, Ryan?
Well, I know what question I'm thinking of, and we're probably thinking of different questions, but the question that he asked was, who's to say was it Kavanaugh that asked the question that another president in the future couldn't invoke this for whatever emergency they believe to be an emergency? Is that the question you're thinking of?
It's related to that, because I think that was a part of the line of the questioning, yes. But what he eventually asked was, and inferred, was he said, well, if a president can completely cut off trade with any country, which he can do, and every justice acknowledged, yes, the president has the power to do that, then according to the way all U.S. law is written, he would have the power to do less than that also. And less than that would be tariffing. And all the justice, it was like the whole room went, ugh.
Wow. Yeah. That's like, whew, that's a huge argument.
It was a weird moment because it was as if even the defense and the prosecutor and every lawyer involved didn't think of that line of questioning until Kavanaugh almost accidentally, it seemed, maybe brought it up and said, well, why couldn't he do a lesser power according to the way the law is written? And everybody kind of went, oh, I don't know. So it seemed to me that the justices really were ready to overturn his ability to use tariffs, and then all of a sudden gave the Trump team a huge talking point, which they used a little bit. I mean, they didn't like go out there and do press on it, but they tried to. It's just not, something Fox News is like, let's do an interview just on that one topic. So they did a little bit of it, but you didn't hear a lot about it. But to me, that was the whole case hinged on that moment. And I don't believe that they've figured out how to get around it, and that's why it's taken so long for them to issue.
That's so interesting that brought, because like if you stop and let's think about that in the reverse of it. So if you're saying that he can't tariff, then what you're also saying then is he wouldn't have the power to impose sanctions or anything like that, and they'd immediately have to remove all of those from all of these countries. That's a devastating question if you're trying to say he doesn't have that power.
Yeah, so I'm going to go back to the question I was thinking about, but I'll tell you, Ryan Wiggins, that is the moment, the climax of these type of arguments that were going on. But this is why I think this would be the best case scenario for Donald Trump. If the Supreme Court comes back and, like we mentioned before, says something along the lines of Congress has to settle this. We can't undo anything that was done. We're not going to undo anything that was done, but we're also not going to give explicit type of powers to say that it's allowed. We're just going to say that we're going to allow this to stay. This would be the absolute best case scenario for Donald Trump because, like the question that I brought up before, if perhaps another president comes in, and this was part of the questioning that came in, some of the conservatives brought this up. I thought it was Kavanaugh, where he said that what if the next president believes there's a climate crisis, so they put 1,000% tariff on gasoline vehicles? They ask things like those type of questions. So what constitutes a crisis that would allow these powers to any president to make any type of power here? So the best case scenario for Donald Trump is, let's say, Congress does, after the fact, after these tariffs are put in place, put the definitions in place so it prevents a liberal president in the future from doing just that, abusing it as a loophole that they see Donald Trump using it, I think, for the best interest of the United States. But let's say a liberal president using it for the best interest of their party.
Well, that's very interesting, and I would be curious to see how the Supreme Court could write it to where a president could use it as an emergency, but only if they define the emergency. That would be really tricky. But it's also, I mean, it kind of does speak to the place where we're in that I don't know about you, Ryan, but I heard rumors last week that, by Monday, by Tuesday, we're going to get a ruling on this. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we're now to Friday and they're saying, maybe by this coming Monday or Tuesday, we might get a ruling on this. That indicates to me that there really is a lot of still maybe jostling behind the scenes of them trying to finalize this thing because they've had a tough time with it. But that's my opinion.
Ooh, it's a big one.
Yeah, it is.
I know we have to go to break here. Maybe we talk about this a little bit more during the show. And there's a couple of things I wanted to bring up from Australia. And not that I'm always looking at other countries' news, but there's a couple of great, fantastic headlines from Australia right now. And they live life so interesting down there. I have a friend that lives in Australia, and he tells me all the time about what it's like where, one of my guinea pigs got eaten by a snake yesterday, and it's like commonplace down there. And they have like their village that they live in has a specific snake handler. Like he's the guy they call when these giant anacondas get inside of their living rooms and stuff. So it's like, what a weird world they live down there. But they do one thing right, and we'll talk about that coming up after the break too. I'm Ryan Reichert, filling in for Annie Fry, 97.1 FM Talk.
And someday he would be a star, but he sure found out the hard way.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial # law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
We've been here 30 years.
30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
It's time for you to get to know my friends at Lit Cigar Lounge in Chesterfield, where luxury meets comfort. Mark Cox here. They have a great selection of rare bourbons, whiskeys, craft cocktails, anything you like to drink, cold beer, premium hand-rolled cigars from the finest makers in the world, even private lockers that are available if you choose to. Perfect for date nights or business meetings, and live music every Friday night. Family-owned and operated. Check them out in Chesterfield at the District. It's litstl.com.
All right, we've been talking about the YouTube live chat poll today. We want to know what you think. Will the Supreme Court uphold Trump's ability to tariff, yes or no? I can tell you what, the betting odds are against them upholding it, which I told Brad, that's how we started talking yesterday. I said, you know what, it might be time to make a couple of bets on this, just in my opinion. But hey, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's how the conversation started. Want to remind you, though, that Jimmy Fallon is coming to town next Saturday. That is January 24th. And your chance to win free tickets in this very show will be within the next probably 10 to 12 minutes after the next segment. I can tell you that. So that narrows it down pretty tight. So stick around through this next segment. At the end of it, you will have a chance to win those last pair of free tickets that we have to that show. It is 1:32. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Born in the Midwest, built on common sense. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
I'm waiting for hear something along the lines of it's nighttime or there it is. I spent the night. I just heard it. Ah, we got you. We got you.
Oh, okay.
All right.
There it is. Songs about nighttime.
Yeah. All right. I think we got you.
Yep.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. All right. I'm feeling pretty good about this. Until you play a song totally unrelated in the next one, and we're like, wait a minute, this doesn't work. So in Australia, finally, they passed a law where if you're a child, you can't have a social media account. And it finally went into account, and overnight, 5 million social media accounts belonging to Australian teenagers were deactivated or removed. So why are we taking so long for that to happen here in the United States? Wouldn't that be a nice thing to not have to worry about teenagers getting preyed upon on social media when they're too young to know better? Wouldn't that be nice? And I know the social media companies, they kind of have their own ways to regulate this, and they have their own regulations. You can't have an account until whatever, but you know that they're lying when they put their ages and things down. To have it where they could be held accountable if these people are, taking advantage of these young, impressionable teens, that would actually make them take it seriously. Wouldn't this be a good thing to have in the United States?
Yeah. I mean,
let's do it.
It would. I don't love everything that every Western-leaning country, it's funny to call Australia Western since they're in Australia, but you know what I mean. That's a country that restricts rights kind of willy-nilly, and I don't love that they do that. They don't have the constitutional protections that we have, and so things like this tend to happen pretty easily there. And while I agree with the spirit of the law, and really I'm not even completely opposed to it happening here. I just don't love, we value freedom a lot. And I like that we ask questions about, will this impede on somebody's freedom before we just pass a law, or at least conservatives do. We like it to at least ask that question. And then sometimes you have to do it for the good of society anyway. But I like that we always ask it. And I'm kind of asking that here. Should we impede on people's freedom? Even if they're kids? I mean, it's very different because we are talking about kids. But, through the lens of the red, white, and blue, do we add this law just because we know that it would be probably good overall? Or do we say, no, you're free. You can choose for yourself?
I mean, I think that's an easy yes. I think that studies have shown and proven that social media is addictive, that it's bad for mental health, that it's not good for kids. It's not really, probably not even that good for adults either. It's not good for adults. It's good
for no one.
But, it's useful. It's not good. But you look at other things that we restrict from children, things like alcohol and tobacco, those are under 18 restricted, and it has to do with addiction and stuff like that. We also restrict explicit material, so not even just pornography, but rated R movies and stuff like that. You need permission from your parents to go see these things. I don't see how this is any different than falling into under that line. That this is not good for you. We've decided as a society that your brains aren't developed enough to handle this. And I think even if you start looking at Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they're actually starting to agree with that too. They're like, this stuff is toxic and we don't want any part of it. I think that you're starting to see some of these kids move away from it too. So I see equivalents in the United States already on this. So I think this would be a good thing.
Yeah, and it is predatory, and you think about, yes, there are predators that use these platforms, but it's more or less the tech companies that are predatory. They are purposely designing these things to mess with these kids' minds. And one of the big things that happened just a couple of years ago was the whole body image problem, where purposely they were targeting these young girls in a way that were definitely not healthy. And they knew what they were doing, and they did it purposely, and they knew they could manipulate these young girls that way. And that is some lousy stuff. And just the fact that during the election, we saw how much social media can manipulate things based on the way the government wants them to operate and then lie to people about it. We know what they're doing is bad, and we know that they're targeting these kids too. So I look at this and say, hey, Australia, they got something right here. And a lot of other countries, they also have these sort of mechanisms in place that these tech companies are held responsible when it's misused. Now, the unfortunate thing here in the United States is that we really don't hold tech companies accountable like they do in other countries. So if you look at some of the European standards and how tech companies could be fined if they violate the rights of people or their users, here in the United States, you have basically no rights. It's like if you're a user, your right is to get off the platform and that's it. There is no ability to bring fault up against a tech company in the United States. It's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
They're never hold at fault for anything. So there needs to be something where they're reined in here in the United States as opposed to, them owning everyone and everything.
The heavy hand of Europe coming against tech companies, though, to me is not the best example.
No.
Europe is using their tech laws and their power against tech companies to basically stifle free speech. And that's where I get really wary about putting these restrictions, even for kids, because I understand the argument, and I really don't necessarily disagree with it. But isn't it really shouldn't it be up to the parents to restrict that instead of the government being the parents? Because that's what we're asking them to do. We're asking the government to come in and say, look, parents are maybe not able to monitor this as well as the government could, so the government should be the parent and monitor this and make sure that kids are behaving themselves with social media.
Well, let me ask you this, and I'm going to use Pornhub as an example. Companies like Pornhub, where they deal specifically in pornography, are they held accountable for making sure that their product is not disseminated nor targeting children?
I have no idea.
Some
how
states.
that works.
Yeah, Missouri's one of those
Some states have recently, and it's kind of a recent trend where age verification has become a big push in some states, mostly in the South, but I don't think Missouri has one right now.
Yeah, Missouri does.
It does? Okay.
Yeah, we had A.G. Hanaway on earlier this month, I believe, to talk about that and how basically Pornhub said, well, we're not going to comply, so we're out.
Wow. So I don't know how that works. If it's, I guess let me just say this. maybe I don't know all the details on how these things work, but there is some sort of way to tell these things other than lying. Like this seems pretty easy to circumvent. And what I'm saying is these states that have put laws in place is you have to basically verify you as a person in order to gain access, meaning they have to know you're an actual person. You're not just lying about your birth date. You have to do that in Missouri if you're trying to access some of these pornographic sites.
Yeah. I forget
Wow.
exactly what it is,
Well,
but
good for Missouri.
there's a standard higher than just I'm over this age.
Wow. Well, good for them. That's actually really good. I think that is becoming more and more of a trend. I know there's a privacy issue with that because people want to stay anonymous, but there's certain content that is not suitable for children, and that's why they can put those sort of laws in place. That's interesting. I wanted to go back and say, because the European thing and the free speech, it happened here in the United States. I mean, the exact same thing happened with no regulation. The tech companies, I don't think it matters either way. They're going to manipulate their algorithms in a way to stifle free speech unless there's some sort of something in place that prevents them from doing that. At least the United States has some protections against that right now. And we have seen at least the tech companies get their day of reckoning. Donald Trump mostly is the one that's pushed that forward. Wasn't going to happen under Joe Biden.
Well, I mean, Missouri v. Biden showed that was the case, and it was actually not just tech companies. It was the U.S. government, the Biden administration, trying to circumvent the Constitution by putting pressure on these tech companies to violate people's First Amendment rights.
Right, exactly. One other thing about Australia, and this is pretty good. Do you guys know the term fatberg?
No.
Well, this is going to be fun. So you're homeowners, both of you. Is that correct, Brad?
Mm-hmm.
You're
Yes,
a homeowner, I believe.
yes.
And Wiggins, you have multiple. I think you have rentals, even, don't you? Like you're.
I got one here. I got one in the Hamptons. Looking for one in
all over the place.
Sao Paulo.
So one of the things that you always have to worry about in a home is that you're not putting things down the pipe that don't belong down the water pipe. It'll easily clog up. Some things like pouring bacon grease down your kitchen sink. Terrible for your pipes. Well, guess what? People do that stuff all the time anyway. They put stuff down the pipes that shouldn't be there. It goes into the sewer. Sewer flushes it out. Sometimes it's, collected and processed. Other times it just goes down the line. Well, what happens when you have an entire millions of people living in close proximity doing the same thing? This fat buildup happens in the pipes sometimes. And these fat buildups are called fatbergs. And in Sydney, it's true. In Sydney, on their beaches, they noticed these little fat meatballs were washing ashore. And they're like, where are these little fat meatballs showing up from? Well, as it turns out, there's a fatberg that they've identified to be the size of 4 buses. That's how big this blob of fat is, with the size of 4 buses.
In the ocean?
And inside of their pipes across Sydney. This is underground wastewater pipes that are holding these things and blocking, and in some ways, a certain percentage blocking these pipes.
So it's if you squeezed it all together, it'd be the size of buses, but it's not like in the size or a shape of a bus.
No, it doesn't look like a bus, but it's the size and shape of a bus. It's fats, it's oils, it's grease. And this giant fatberg, it says within Sydney waters, Malabar Deepwater Ocean sewer has been identified as likely the source of these debris fat balls that are washing up on the beaches. And it isn't exactly sure how big the fatberg is, but this is what they're guessing. It's about the size of 4 buses. And it's about 2 kilometers offshore. I didn't do the conversions on that, so it's a little bit far out. This is what they said. Our beaches and our tourism is very important to Sydney. If they were to try to go unclog this thing, they said they would have to shut down the beaches for 2 or 3 months. And they don't want to do that because it's too much. So they're basically saying you're going to have to live with the fat balls washing up on the shorelines.
Is that the worst thing in the world? Swimming with some grease balls around every now and then. Maybe you can have fun with them, Maybe you could stand on them, surf.
Sounds like a regular day at the beach.
Yeah, toss them to a friend.
Yeah,
like your little catch.
Get out there and
skip them across the
baseball.
water.
Skip them across the water.
Imagine though, as you're swimming and you're like, "Ooh, I'm having fun," and then your foot touches one just a little bit, and you're like, "Oh no, what was that?" You don't know.
Is that
you
a
try to look down.
jellyfish?
Yeah. Because I can't be afraid of it regardless. I think the fat ball would be the best thing it could be if your foot touched something.
Right. And that's the only way I can describe them. They look like little meatballs. If you were to go look up on some of the different beaches, Koogee Beach, Coogee Beach, and they look at it, and you go down the shoreline, and they're all over the place. It looks like right after the windstorm hit, and a bunch of those, what are those Pokeballs that St. Louis has a ton of? It's like that. It looks like your lawn after a windstorm, and a bunch of Pokeballs fell off the tree.
Oh, yeah, the gumballs.
Gumballs, that's it. I couldn't think of the name. So that's the type of frequency we're seeing on the beaches. Kind of puts a damper on everything that's there. So fatbergs exist. St. Louis gets fatbergs. Everywhere get fatbergs. They're just not that size. That's the extraordinarily large size for a fatberg, honestly.
I've never heard
Ryan
the term
Wiggins,
before.
If you really reached out to sanitation, I bet you they would show you. Like if you wanted to go see for yourself, they'll show you some fatbergs.
Ryan Wiggins on assignment.
Okay, I guess I'll do it. I guess that's what I'm going to do for the next 2 weeks.
On assignment. Yeah,
Can
exactly.
I see fatbergs? That's the whole message.
So literally you email them. It's like an info@stlsanitation.gov. And the subject line is, "Can I see fatberg?"
Yeah, with no message.
The message, it says, "Please, ? Signed, Ryan Wiggins. You're listening to the Annie Fry Show, 97.1 FM Talk.
Let's show our appreciation for local heroes. Mark Cox here. Nominate a first responder and their department could get lunch from Grill Master Tony's. I'll personally deliver it. Share their story at 971talk.com. Nominate them today.
Wondering if dangerous contaminants are in your home's water? Get Leaf Home Water Solutions today. We can't live without water, but we can take actions today to make it safer and healthier. Leaf Home Water Solutions is offering a free in-home water test. Just visit leafhome.com/free to schedule yours. With results from their advanced digital testing, Leaf Home Water Solutions can design a whole home system and expertly install it in as little as 1 day. With Leaf Home Water Solutions, you can feel confident that each drop of water from every tap and appliance is cleaner and safer for you and your family. We can't live without water, but we can take actions today to make our family's water safer with Leaf Home Water Solutions. Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
Hey, it's your radio buddy Jimmy Fallon, and dig this, I am coming to the loo.
Call now to see Jimmy Fallon. 314-241-9797. That's 314-241-9797 to see Jimmy Fallon at the factory on January 24th. Be the 9th caller now.
This is Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates. You know, the doctors, or just the best doctors to see for your best vision in St. Louis. 314-966-5000, the doctors. They've treated more than 250 doctors. That's more than any other practice. Dr. Greg Birdie, Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Robert Bersati, Dr. Andy Royer. 314-966-5000 is their phone number. 314-966-5000. Dr. Birdie, Dr. Malhotra are cornea surgeons and experts in diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye, dry eye, allergy eye, cataracts, macular degeneration, glaucoma, LASIK surgery. The Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates, experts. Call for an appointment today, 314-966-5000, or visit them online, youridoc.com, 12990 Manchester Road, quarter mile west of 270. 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I think this song gives it away right at the start. I think it does. Let's listen here.
When the night
Yeah, there it is.
has come
There it is.
and the land is dark.
Brad,
No
can I ask
hiding
you
it now.
why you chose night as a theme?
I just thought it would be fun.
Okay. Not related to anything?
Nope.
Okay, just making sure.
All right, be honest. Do you get a little disappointed when we catch on this quickly?
All right, you asked me to be honest. I'm gonna be 100% honest. That was not actually the original theme that I was going for, and it kind of it kind of got messed up because the one song that I was going to have James pull, who James is our associate producer today. Ethan's off. James, I told him whenever he did the music, I said, just if any of these songs are not in the list, just pick something else. So he actually picked Midnight Train to Memphis from Aretha Franklin because the other Aretha Franklin song was not in there. But this one is way better than anything that I could have came up with, so we decided to go with Night. Songs about night.
The alternate playlist. Okay, not bad. I enjoyed it. I feel pretty good. It's like when I'm playing Wordle type games online, which I don't play the regular Wordle, but I see the cheapo versions of it, the Timo versions of Wordle. I'll play them every time, and I feel real good if I get that word. I felt like I got it on the first try that
Nailed
time.
it today.
Nailed it. What do you think about Venezuelan's new leader giving her Nobel Peace Prize to Donald Trump?
When did that happen?
Like yesterday.
This is just.
Did that
was
just
it yesterday?
Yesterday, day before, whenever they met.
So
right.
Is she trying to buy his favor so that she can become the president? Is that what's going on?
So here's Fox News. Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Machado had a simple explanation for why she gifted President Trump her Nobel Peace Prize medal at the White House Thursday. Because he deserves it. Said that on Fox and Friends. Because he deserves it. So we know that they're trying to figure out the best way to handle Venezuela moving forward, who's going to lead it, who's a legitimate leader, who's going to put it in a direction where it doesn't fall back to the way it was. And she comes in and says, I have a gift for you. And this is something you've always wanted, and I'm going to give you mine. Is this just like, okay, is it just as simple as trust me and let me do my thing, and this is my bribe to you to let me do it?
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah. I think it is. Because there were a lot of people on the socials screaming, oh, he won't support her because he's just jealous of her and mad at her because she won the Nobel Prize. So I don't know if that's true. I doubt that that's true. But if there's any way that could curry favor for her to become the president of Venezuela, she's going to do it. And that's exactly what she just did. I don't think it changes anything for Trump, but I do think that that's her motivation, is to say, look, this is fine, but if this is in any way, shape, or form getting in between me and you and me and the presidency, I don't care about it.
I don't care about this. It's interesting because the way she phrased it was, this was a gift from the people of Venezuela to the people of America for, helping free their country, essentially. I think, though, even before back into this, after she won it, she was like public in saying that Donald Trump deserved this more.
That's very true. That is very true.
Oh, okay. Good point.
Because of the different aspects of peace that he's brought about around the world. So maybe it's genuine. Maybe it's something nice, because I don't know that this actually, to me, the Nobel Prize doesn't mean squat whenever they gave it to Barack Obama for being Barack Obama. Literally didn't do anything. I think he hadn't even taken office yet whenever he won.
It was his first year, at least.
It was terrible.
And it's nothing. It's just elite people giving each other rounds of applause. It doesn't mean anything.
Right.
But maybe it means something to Donald Trump, so I don't know. Maybe you're right, Ryan.
Yeah, it would be like showing up to a job interview and you make it to the second round and you're like, you know what, I'm going to bring donuts for everyone. And be like, show up with donuts. Or you're like, yeah, that's how we know this is the guy. We like this guy. I thought maybe we like her. But that's an interesting point that she made the exact same comments before. But I would say if you're living in Venezuela and Maduro is out, you're probably very appreciative of whoever made that happen, because it was not good under him at all.
And look, this was the plan. This was the plan when they took out Maduro, was that they would not support the opposition government that probably, I'm almost surely, won that election. They said, we're going to just hand this over. And by the way, if that country had devolved into chaos, that's the only thing you'd think about and know about, because it would be everywhere. That's the only thing people would be talking about, is how Donald Trump went in, stole the leader, had no plan, and caused chaos in the country. And that hasn't happened because he supported the second in command. Now, I believe that there is a very, very solid plan to have a new election, and then the election will be free and fair and clean, and they won't have all the machine problems and the stealing that they've had in Venezuela. And then you'll actually see maybe Machado become the legitimate president, even though she in some way is right now. She wasn't the one on the ticket this time because they blocked her from even running, which is ridiculous.
Where have we seen that before?
Yeah. So
if you haven't seen a picture of Donald Trump holding up this frame, this frame's so nice, and it's gold frame, by the way, because she knows what's up at the White House. If you want that up on the wall, you need a gold frame. I don't know if I've ever seen Donald Trump happier in my life. Like, even when he won the presidency in 2016, I don't think he was this happy as when he's holding up the framed Nobel Peace Prize, which I don't even know if they allow you to gift that to someone else. I thought a lot of times, like Oscars and things, they absolutely have a stipulation where you cannot give it to someone else. You have to return it to them if you're going to forfeit it. I wonder if the Nobel people are like, this is a huge insult for you to give them.
Well, you know for a fact they're not going to come and take it by force. Do whatever you want.
I wonder if I hope that's up on the wall somewhere. And you know what? I wonder if that could be his presidential photo they use in that hallway. They just put his Nobel Peace Prize up. We have another hour of the Andy Fry Show coming up, and I'm having fun on this Friday. I hope you are too. Go vote in the YouTube poll and leave some comments while you're there. 97.1 FM Talk.
Marie, is that you? Oh, hi, Barb. How you doing? Better now. Did you know we had a little health scare with Jeff? Oh, no. What happened? Well, he had been short of breath and was really tired a lot of the time. He just thought he was getting old and was out of shape, but it turns out it was heart valve disease. How did you figure it out? He finally went to the doctor, and she was able to listen to his heart and detected the problem. I didn't realize it, but heart valve disease is more common than you'd think. They were able to replace the valve, and he's feeling so much better now. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
More than 5 million Americans are diagnosed with heart valve disease every year, but most people know nothing about the condition, and it can be deadly if untreated. That's why it's important to listen to your heart and ask your doctor if your symptoms may be due to heart valve disease, or if you're at high risk. A message brought to you by Heart Valve Voice US. For more information about the symptoms and treatments for valve disease, go to heartvalvevoice-us.org.
According to MasterCard, nearly half of small businesses have been a victim of a cyber attack. As cybercrime escalates, ThrottleNet is calling on businesses to strengthen their security posture by taking a free online IT security audit right from your desk. This 3-minute online assessment provides an immediate score to see security gaps and vulnerabilities in your network. For 26 years, ThrottleNet has supported your business IT everything right here in St. Louis. In fact, no client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom. So visit throttlenet.com/971 to take the free assessment today.
I do appreciate all the referrals that we receive daily. It is phenomenal. I've said it, I can't say it enough how much I do appreciate the referrals. With that being said, if you do refer me, you're in great hands. I will not sell homeowners that work hard for their money, just like myself, crap that they do not need. But if you want good quality, man, you can't even say cheap anymore. I don't think I can even say cheap by the, you can't even go by price. Okay, that's another commercial. Call me, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Remember, it's the only number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600 or BartInman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
Hey guys, are you dealing with low energy weight gain or issues in the bedroom? Game Day Men's Health is the premier men's health clinic in the St. Louis area with locations in Chesterfield and O'Fallon, Missouri. They specialize in low testosterone and sexual health, and they also help men and women with medical weight loss, vitamins, and peptides. They offer free consultations and testosterone tests with results in about 20 minutes. Get in, get answers, get back to the top of your game. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Again, that's GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Accused assassin due back in court. Elisa Brady, Fox News. A hearing set to begin for Tyler Robinson, charged with killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk at a college event in Utah last year. Defense attorneys are trying to have the Utah County Attorney's Office thrown off the case over a possible conflict of interest.
Lawyers for Tyler Robinson argue because a prosecutor's adult child was at that Turning Point USA event when Charlie Kirk was shot and killed, they can't stay impartial, therefore they should be removed. According to an affidavit, the adult child was a student at the time and still is, was standing around 85 feet away when they heard a loud sound, and after people started yelling that Kirk had been shot, ran with the rest of the crowd. They then texted their family members that, quote, someone got shot. And Charlie got shot.
Fox's Jeff Paul at the courthouse in Provo. Prosecutors say the adult child did not witness the actual shooting, and they don't believe there's any legal or ethical conflict to force removal of anyone on the prosecution team. President Trump is urging Congress to pass new health care legislation.
At the center of what President Trump dubs the great health care plan are health savings accounts.
In other words, we cut out the insurance companies. They're making a fortune. And, you know, they're good people. They're business people. I don't blame them. But we cut them out. We pay the money directly to the people.
President Trump also wants Congress to codify pricing agreements with major drug makers to ensure those deals are in place after his presidency. The proposal comes amid bipartisan negotiations to revive Affordable Care Act subsidies that expired last year.
Fox's Jared Halpern. The U.S. Supreme Court just agreeing to hear the legal fight over a popular weed killer. Bayer, the maker of Roundup, hoping to block thousands of state lawsuits accusing the company of failing to warn people a key ingredient could cause cancer. But the EPA's approval came without a cancer warning. America is listening to Fox News.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
It's a little windy this afternoon, but we're going to warm up into the low 40s, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Winds swing to the northwest with a cold front tonight. Cloudy skies, evening wind-driven snow flurries, a dusting in spots. 21 degrees. Saturday, partly sunny, a couple of wandering snowflakes and a windy 29. 12 Saturday night. Sunday, sunny and 29. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. If your furnace breaks down, call Air Comfort Service for a $99 service call. And don't forget, if your furnace breaks, even on a holiday, Air Comfort Service offers 24/7 emergency service. AirComfortService.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
They got someone here knows what they're talking about.
Left up, left right, gotta love this American ride.
Like, you need to take some time to get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Nice. I love that intro. Why don't you use that every time?
That's what I say. Annie won't allow it. I'm like, please play it once a week. She's like, fine.
Yeah, force the hand. So welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Congratulations to our ticket winners, by the way. Well, who won the tickets to go see our friend Jimmy Fallon?
It was
like
Margie from St. Charles, I believe. Margie?
I tried to say it like I messed that up completely. So is this the last day for the tickets?
The last day that you can win them for free is today.
Yes.
And that means there's only one more pair during the Mark Reardon show today.
Yep. And there are still
Well, that's gonna
tickets
be a big one.
available, but not a lot.
Yeah, there's not many left.
Well, because you guys are going, and they knew that if they want to get your autograph at the event, that they would have to get their tickets quickly.
Yep.
Are you allowed to meet him after the show? Do you have like special access to him?
We're allowed special access. Yeah. No, I have no idea.
No idea.
We have no clue. We're just going to show up just like everybody
Hope
else. And we'll assume that maybe, I think he's coming to town maybe a little bit before the show. So maybe some of us at the station are getting together beforehand.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I show up and I go where I'm told.
We do what we're supposed to do.
Back when I did rock radio, like when I first got into radio, it was a classic rock station, and they'd always ask you to like introduce bands, introduce acts, and things like that. And I've introduced some really cool people. One time I was asked to go to a county fair to introduce Edgar Winter, and I was there, and the crowd was terrible. I mean, there might have been 50 people that showed up.
Oh, really?
It was horrible turnout that night. And I'm sitting there and I'm just waiting to I'm supposed to introduce him, and I'm standing there, and here I am. I'm ready to say my thing and pump up the 50 people that are there. And Edgar, they must have been so deflated. They're like, forget it. They just walked out and started playing. Didn't even give me a chance to introduce him. And I was there the whole night. I had to get there early. I had to talk to people. I had to do this. And they didn't even get to introduce him. Didn't even get to put a small plug in for my classic rock radio station.
Oh, man. Yeah, that stinks. I've heard stories like that. My dad, I don't remember the band. I think it was, gosh, I wish I could remember. It was somebody like that he was part of the city council, not the city council, but the student council for his college. And it was a college in the area. And they put together a show involving some classic rock band like that. And I guess they didn't promote it well enough, and there were like 8 people there in the crowd.
Yeah.
And the only reason I remember the story is because he says that the band walked out, and they said, "Now listen here, there are more of us on the stage than there are of you out there. So if you don't like something, you better shut up and accept it, or we'll come down there and beat the blank out of you." And then there was a fun show after that.
I was going to say, man,
Yeah.
I've been a part of a couple of things like that where the turnout isn't as great. And what I really appreciate is when the artist, you know what, it's just us, but we're going to have a blast anyway. And then they just throw caution to the wind, and they just have a great show.
That's awesome. Let's go and look at a couple of the big stories that are going on to this weekend. When we had Jeff Monosso on in the first hour, he mentioned in Minneapolis that there's going to be competing type of protests that are going on this weekend. That's going to be a whole... It sets up a conflict that could be a whole different topic we're bringing up on Monday morning. Like, look what happened in the terrible fights, and especially when the police are asked to stand down, and these two conflicting ideologies are going to be up and against each other. One ideology, which is don't hurt police officers, and the other one is we could do whatever we want. It's tough to combat that. I don't know if this matters or not, did you see that Renee Good was shot 4 times, not 3? That was one of the news stories there. Does that matter? Does that change anything?
Doesn't really. I didn't see that story, but no.
So apparently there was 4, but not 3. But when you watch the video and you're trying to listen, I guess I only heard 3 shots, not 4. Maybe my ears are definitely not as good as they used to be, but working in radio, everyone's deaf, by the way. If you work in radio and you have headphones on all day, we all get hearing issues. There was another interesting story that came up with ICE being surrounded in these areas. How troubling is that, where ICE enforcement are in places where police are not going to enforce the laws, especially when ICE is in the presence, and they'll get ambushed in ways. We're seeing stories about them getting ambushed, them getting shot at, weapons being drawn on them, things like that. And then you go to social media, and the people that are ambushing them are posting photos and saying, how dare they arrest a pregnant woman? Look at it. Don't they have no decency? And you look at the videos of what these ICE agents are confronted with each and every day out there. It is terrible the way they're being treated. I look at this and I think, too, that I don't know how long it's going to take for the full story to get out there, but Donald Trump's the kind of guy and the type of president that's not just going to call it off because the impressions are bad, meaning, we're getting beat up on social media, so we better change course. And no, he's not the kind of guy. He's going to be the type of guy that stays course because he's kind of resolute and he knows that this is the right thing to do. And I kind of admire that, honestly.
Oh, how could you not admire that? I mean, we've never had a president in my lifetime that was willing to just say, blanket, we got to do the right thing. And I don't mean blanket like blanky.
Because it's cold out.
No, I mean, this is, and not to joke about it, but I mean, this is basically a color revolution that's going on right now. We don't use the term a lot because a lot of people don't know what color revolution is. But this is warfare created against your own country from the inside. And that's what's happening. There's very, very strong funding for this to happen. That's why it's mobile, it's nomadic, it moves from place to place, wherever they can get the headlines and keep it going. And that's why the leadership of the Democrat Party, for the most part, supports it. This is how they support it, too. They go out and they foment the chaos, and they say, just like you just said, Ryan, stand down to their own law enforcement, and then go create chaos against the other law enforcement, and then we'll stand up here and go, gosh, we wish Donald Trump would stop causing all this chaos. I mean, this is the playbook, and it's happening on American soil. We've never really seen it until the last 10 years because it's gotten that bad. But here we are. I mean, this is warfare on our country from inside the country.
Well, and it's so interesting, too, because the same people saying, why is Donald Trump creating all this chaos? They would sit down if you said, hey, we want to get the criminals out. They would agree with you. They would say, yeah, that'd be a good thing. But that's not what the Trump administration is doing. However, they've also put in place those sanctuary city policies, which don't allow ICE to go into prisons. It's like, if you don't want ICE on the streets, then work with them so they can get those criminals out of prison so they're not in proximity with the meemaws and the grandmas and the moms of three that you all are claiming that they're ripping out and kidnapping.
They don't look at them as criminals, though. I mean, they look at them as victims. And think about it this way, the meemaws. I love that you put it that way. When it comes to the governor, when it comes to the mayor, if you're a meemaw or you're a Venezuelan drug lord, you're looked at as the same, as in you have both the same rights to be there. It's insane to me. Do you want to? Okay, I got two clips. In fact, do you want to hear the funny one or do you want to hear the serious one first?
Well,
which way should we go?
We've been talking about a lot of serious stuff, so let's do the serious one, then the funny one.
Okay, let's go serious first. This is the father-in-law of Renee Good, Timmy Macklin, clip number 8.
Well, I'm not blaming anybody. I mean, it's a hard situation all the way around. It's hard for for everybody involved. I mean, the ICE agent, at first I didn't see the footage where, he was actually, he was actually being ran. I mean, I seen the bump of the car hitting his legs. And so in a flash like that, it's hard to say how you would react. From my understanding that he had been through that before, maybe dragged or something. And so, like I said, it's just a hard situation for everybody. Becca, she's a great person as well. I mean, I don't have any enemies. I love everybody. And that's what the Bible tells us, love our neighbors as we love ourselves. But, I think there's some bad choices. And the word says, for the wrath of God will come upon the children of disobedience. And, it's I don't blame ICE. I don't blame Rebecca. I don't blame Renee. I just wish that, if we're walking the Spirit of God, I don't think she would have been there.
It's a pretty reasonable way to look at it, right? And especially when you have someone that was killed in the circumstances surrounding it. Knowing that, well, someone that you may actually have liked a lot, and, people that you like do bad things all the time. I mean, there's people here that, think about it. Next time you're walking down the hallway, you'd be like, that person could do something terrible, and what would you say? Like, because you like them in the context of work, or you like them in the context of a social gathering, but then people that you like do bad things sometimes, and he's trying to, I think, look at it in a very realistic way. And that's got to be a tough thing, too, when you have the family aspect with it.
Who did you say that was speaking?
It was
the
her
father-in-law.
Yeah, I guess her ex-father-in-law. He's the father-in-law of the husband that she was married to before she got the divorce.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. I've seen some other stuff from him too. That's not an unreasonable position at all.
No. You want to hear the funny clip now?
Yes.
Here he goes. So this is Greg Gutfeld talking about Representative Omar. This is
they haven't been able to produce any evidence that they are finding people who are undocumented who have committed crimes.
So she's saying there have been no arrests of criminals in Minneapolis. Next thing she's going to tell us is she did marry her brother.
Oh, is that the whole thing?
That's the whole thing. That's the whole joke.
I've actually I follow Ilhan Omar on socials just to see what she'll post. And it's so funny. It's almost as if she is aware of how hypocritical of the things that she says are, and she just does it anyway because she, all the information's almost all out there about her. But she'll talk about in Minnesota how, look, we just need transparency, like stuff that you're like, you got to be kidding, right? I mean, the irony can't be lost on you that you're saying this.
All right, so did she marry her brother? Is that confirmed?
All but. I mean, I've never seen anybody actually refute it.
I mean, at first it was like a super denial campaign that was going on, but the longer this has gone on, the more likely, you know what, I think she probably did. Oh, no. All right. It's a weird thing, isn't it? I mean, how is that not weird all the way together? And she is a representative. People voted her in. People have confidence in her, which I don't understand.
Well, a lot of those people seem to have been in on the take, so I guess we'll find out whether her district is changing soon or not.
We want to do the serious questions segment after the break. Does that sound good?
Sounds like good. Fun.
Let's do it. You're listening to the Annie Fry Show. If you haven't already, go to the YouTube page now and go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Will the Supreme Court uphold Trump's ability to tariff? Simple yes or no. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
License number E2014A.
Hey, it's good to see you.
You know, there's a certain way we do things around here. The Grasser way.
The Grasser way?
We don't cut corners and we don't take shortcuts. Not on the little stuff and not on the big stuff.
We do the big stuff.
That's right. Whole home generators that kick on the moment the grid gives up. Lights stay on, heat stays on, your family stays safe. So your house stays warm.
And your ice cream stays frozen.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings, up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-478-6430 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-478-6430. That's 800-478-6430. What do you have to lose? Call 800-478-6430. Again, 800-478-6430.
Doesn't it feel like you hear all the time from retired friends and family, I wish someone had told me this before I retired? Or why didn't anybody tell me this? Why is this not a class? Well, that's exactly why Financial and Tax Architects was founded. FTA keeps hardworking families in St. Louis make sense of retirement. They show them how to keep more of what they've earned and how to make it last. That way you can get some sleep at night. You don't have to second guess every expense leading up to retirement. You understand what's going on. Their Retirement Planning 101 class is a practical, no-cost course. They teach it at local colleges. It's just one night. You learn strategies to reduce taxes, plan your income, make confident decisions about Social Security and taxes and inflation. An FTA focuses on education. They try to change the way you retire. Call 888-5101 or go to fta-ria.com to register.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
Annie Fry is St. Louis conservative.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo in so much space.
All right, so I think what we're going to do here is a segment called Serious Questions, which we have a little sounder for, Brad.
Serious question.
I love this segment because it's one that we do, I don't know, once every month or so. I don't know if we've done it with Annie or not. Usually we do it when Annie's not here because I'm the one leading it. And it's just fun because we each come up with a random story that is something that's either serious or fun, and then we ask a very
serious question
about that story after we report on it. So I'll start, and then we'll go around the room. The first one is something is wonky with the prices for your Instacart grocery deliveries, according to a new report. I will ask before we get to the serious question, do you guys use Instacart?
I have not.
Nope, not at all.
What about any of those Walmart apps or Aldi app or whatever that you can buy all your groceries ahead of time, you just go pick them up?
Oh, I do that all the time. Like, so we have Kroger, and unfortunately, St. Louis doesn't have Kroger. You have Ruler Food,
we have Ruler,
which I believe.
yeah.
Yes. But so Kroger here, it's only like on Cyber Monday, whatever it was, you can get a full year's worth of them delivering the food to your doorstep for like $35 a year.
Wow.
So
Man, that's a good deal.
Almost all of our grocery shopping, we just have delivered to the door. It's amazing.
Oh, my gosh. I need to start doing that. Well, Instacart is a app that you can use for grocery shopping and delivery like that. It's one of the most popular with an estimated 25 million customers as of this year. Other services like Uber Eats and DoorDash, those are more well-known for restaurant delivery, whereas Instacart is grocery delivery. But Consumer Reports said Instacart's dominance in grocery delivery is why it chose to look at Instacart for its research. To conduct this research, it sought help from 437 volunteers who were divided into 4 groups in September. During a video meeting, the participants simultaneously shopped on Instacart for identical baskets of 18 to 20 goods from Safeway and Target. So not that those stores are involved in this. It's Instacart that would be doing it. A 5th test was also conducted in person with volunteers in Washington, D.C. In each case, the shoppers placed the same items in their virtual shopping carts and recorded the prices by taking screenshots, but did not purchase the goods, Consumer Reports said. After checking the screenshots of the volunteers and evaluating roughly 200 that had no errors, we found that every shopper was an unwitting participant in Instacart's pricing experiments. Which means that they're assuming that everybody is in on these quote-unquote pricing experiments. It means that the algorithm is charging people differently for who they perceive them to be, where they are, and how much they think they can afford or something along those lines. It is algorithm-driven as to what the prices would be for the same items.
Wow. Those losers at Instacart. I hate hearing stuff like that.
Oh, do you? Because my serious question is how much do you love dynamic pricing? That's what they'll call it if checked on it. Well, it's just dynamic pricing. Like, oh, wow, that sounds cool now.
Dynamic pricing based on demand, okay, I get it. If the demand is high and the supply is low, I understand why there's dynamic pricing on that. Cardinals games, dynamic pricing based on this is a desirable game.
Drives me freaking crazy.
This is a desirable team to go see. This is not, so we want our stadium full. They've got other issues of not getting their stadium full right now. But, I understand why they're doing that. Dynamic pricing based on your socioeconomic status is not cool.
Would you be in favor of legislation that addressed this?
I want to say there is, like, let's say, for example, the power goes out, and a corner gas station says, well, you need a bag of ice. We're going to charge you $20 a bag. They can get in serious trouble for doing that when there's these surge prices. I don't see a big difference in what they're doing here. I feel like they're using and exploiting the people in similar ways.
Well, I think this is discrimination. I think I don't think that they need new laws. I think that you should be able to sue them based on existing civil rights laws.
Well, I know that the airlines had started to toy with this idea, and so did fast food of all places. Wendy's was in the news about a year ago for toying with the idea of dynamic pricing at meal times, where their burgers would go up when there was more demand, like at 5 o'clock and whatever. And consumers hate it. I mean, hate it so badly that they scrapped it immediately, didn't even really try it with Wendy's. But the airlines are kicking around the idea, and I just loathe every aspect of it. Ryan Recker.
If I were to roll up to like a Burger King or a Wendy's, or was it Wendy's the one that was going to do that?
Yep.
And they were to take a quick peek in my car, they would say, we're going to lower the prices for this guy. He needs it.
Maybe you like dynamic pricing.
Be out there with the squealing belts.
I have such a beater. Yeah, exactly. I don't have to roll my window down. I have to open the door.
I had a car like that for a while.
Oh, no. Yeah,
we were all
give this guy a
21
break.
at some point.
Do I have one here? This is interesting in Wisconsin because there's a school district that is in a little bit of trouble because a mom who has a disabled daughter, and we're talking pretty young. I saw the video. She probably looks to be 6 or 7, and it's a choir practice. It's like a choir concert going on, and on the stage they have the teacher that's trying to direct the choir of the class, and they have like basically the first layer of kids, and then you have a step up, and there's like kids in the back of the group, and then the girl in the wheelchair that's disabled off to the side, not really participating in this because she can't be part of this stair system that they set up on the stage for the choir concert. Well, they took a video of this, and the poor girl, she feels like so pushed away and like no one cares about her. And the teachers, no one's paying attention to her, and all the kids are having a great time, and she's just off to the side. So the mom gets a video of this and posts it on social media. Look what this Pittsville school district did to my daughter. So she posted online. School district hates that the mom posted this. They hate it so much, they get their lawyer involved. Lawyer sends a cop over to the parents' house to try to pressure the parents to take the video down.
What?
So, serious question here.
Serious question.
The question would be, so where's the line you would start a war with your kid's school? Like, for something like this, because this started a war, because now the parents are like, we're not giving up. It's going to be a bare knuckle brawl based on what you've just done. So where do you start a war with your kid's school? Would you do it for something like this?
I don't know. I'd have to see more about what was going on in the circumstance, or whether they were kind of, making it look like she was a victim or whatever. I don't know. I just don't know. But I do know that posting something online is not something that the school district should be able to send a police officer to your house and tell you can't do, or at least try to pressure you to do. Now, it doesn't sound like the police officer actually did anything illegal. They just asked, which is not illegal. But there's a lot of pressure associated with it when the police come to your door and say, hey, using their official capacity to ask that question is a little bit over the line. So don't love that. I would be all in on fighting the school district at that point.
Yes, for sure. Like at that point, I'm not stopping until there's resignations. There are people that are going to lose their job over that. Sending the police to your door to tell you to take down a social media post. I'm sorry, to ask you to take down. No, that's too far. There needs to be resignations.
Exactly. Well, I can see that. And yes, you're not going to be looked at too favorably, but I will say this. I have to imagine that kid's homeschooled right about now, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
The video attracted 11.6 million views. It triggered an avalanche of outrage against the district. It didn't make it any better for them after the mom talked about how the district handled this situation after the fact. Ooh.
Last one, Brad?
Yeah. So, are you guys Apple people?
Yes.
You got iPhone?
Well, iPhone I am.
Wrecker's a no. Wrecker, I've got a reason here why you should be an Apple person and why you shouldn't get rid of your phone. The iPhone 4 is making a comeback. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they're like really wanting the iPhone 4. So this post says iPhone 4 makes a comeback, and it says this is from the post. Their comment is propagandist. This is their word, not mine. Of the retro tech trend praise the iPhone 4 for its poor picture quality, showcasing the difference between the iPhone 17 Pro Max, Apple's most advanced camera, and the vintage look from the iPhone 4, which that bothers me because the iPhone 4 came out in 2010, and they're calling it a vintage look of the updates of yore.
So I don't get what are people so why
they
do they love it?
They want it because it takes vintage photos, kind of like when people are like, let's get a Polaroid camera.
Oh, really?
So the iPhone 4 is now the Polaroid camera of modern day. iPhone 4, some of the quotes from online are, the vibe is unmatched, wrote one new owner of an OG smartphone. And then this other person said the iPhone 4 is the new Digicam. But anyway, sealed versions of the iPhone 4 and iPhone 4S are going online for up to, the highest I saw was $8,000. This article says thousands of dollars. $8,000 for a completely factory sealed unused version. I've seen $4,000 to $8,000 for the factory sealed versions. But the used ones are still selling. I saw somewhere around $60 to $80 online. And my serious question is, I still have my iPhone 4S. Should I sell it or should I keep it and take cool vintage photos?
Dude, sell that thing right now. I don't care about your photos.
That's what I was looking at. I was like, oh boy.
Wow.
Wait, so $60 to $80 is what you would get for it?
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad. You know what? Can you even activate it?
If you got an Apple account, you can enter it in. You just and that's part of what this article says is that the iOS update stopped at like 7.2, and it's way out of date when it comes to security. So they're like warning, if you do get one of these phones, just use it for pictures. Don't put anything, don't log into anything like that. Just use it for pictures and then send the pictures to yourself and post them from a different phone. But it's on eBay. I've never sold anything on eBay. Is that worth it? Is it worth the headache and the effort?
Well, $60-$80. Maybe.
I don't know. I sell stuff on eBay all the time. Let's say you sold it for $80. You might make $65 if you're lucky. That's if you overcharge them on shipping to kind of make up for some of the fees.
I see.
So, and then you're safe on the tax side of it because you've made so little on it. You don't have to report it. Well, technically you have to, but they're not going to report it to the IRS because it's under the threshold. So it could be free money for you. And then you're going to have to deal with some person that gets it and says it doesn't work and they want a refund and they send you something broken back in return and now you lost your phone. So you got to deal with that. That's a lot of electronics and things, problems on eBay. That happens all the time.
I'd do it.
Hey, wait until everything's so trendy, near the building there, and you get all the hipsters coming into town. You could be able to sell it on the street.
Yeah, don't get rid of your old tech. Apparently, it makes a comeback eventually. Just keep it working.
Only random things do, though. It's not everything.
I know.
You have a pile of 100 things, and one of them might become popular.
And I feel like this is like a Bitcoin rug pull thing. It's like, get rid of it now and make some money if you can.
Yeah, $60. It's so much effort for $60. Like, you have to have some threshold if you're going to sell things, what you're going to make off of it. Like, if you go to Marketplace or whatever, and you have an item you're trying to sell for $10, why would you go through that to meet a stranger for $10? Yeah, and sometimes you got to say, is even $60 worth it? Honestly, I don't even know if it would be worth it, to tell you the truth, unless you had someone that you knew was going to buy it. You know what you could do is involve it in a scam. So, wait until someone tries to stick you up or whatever, and oh, here's my phone, and it turns out to be an old iPhone that's worth nothing.
I just got a text message.
The robber.
I just got a text message from a friend. They said to sell it on Marketplace, so I might end up doing that.
Okay, well, let us know how that goes. You'll have to report back
for sure.
By the way, if you're not on the YouTube Live feed, you should, so you can go vote in the chat poll right now. Will the Supreme Court uphold Trump's ability to tariff? Go vote in that. On the Andy Fry Show, I'm Ryan Recker, filling in on 97.1 FM Talk.
Flame Bearers goes beyond scores to bring real stories from women Olympians and Paralympians who've beat the odds. Hear from legends like Sue Bird, Caster Semenya, and more about what it takes to be a champion. Tune into Flame Bearers wherever you get your podcasts.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. Neovitin began with one doctor's mission to help others feel their best. After years of caring for patients, Dr. Ken Ribicki, a St. Louis physician, created Neovitin, a line of multivitamins designed with quality, safety, and everyday wellness in mind. Each formula is made in the U.S. using the finest domestic and international ingredients to support real people living real lives. Discover the difference today with Neovitin, available at Schnucks, Deerbergs, and Neovitin.com. Neovitin, trusted nutrition from St. Louis for St. Louis.
Your YouTube live chat poll today here on Friday the 16th is, will the Supreme Court uphold Trump's ability to tariff? Now, we don't know when they're going to rule on this. We just keep hearing that they're really close. So will that be, next couple of days? Will that be a couple of weeks? Don't know, but we know that it's coming soon. Will the Supreme Court uphold Trump's ability to tariff? Here's a comment from Roadmaster. He says, if SCOTUS says the president cannot impose tariffs on other countries, what happens to the tariffs from the countries that we trade with that charge us? I don't think those are affected by the Supreme Court decision, but I think I get the point that you're making, that the trade imbalance then goes back to what it was pre-Trump. Let us know what you think. We'll give the results here in just a couple minutes before Mark Reardon's show takes over. 2:37. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Real talk, today's issues. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I think I know the new theme. The theme is bands that used to be cool, but now are a bunch of wieners. Is that the theme we're playing?
That's the theme for just this segment.
Just this segment.
And coming up next is Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, no.
Let's get them all in.
I don't put him on there. Ethan will do it. Brad won't.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What do you guys think of Hunter Biden recently? Do you see he's in the news again?
No. What's he in the news for now?
So I'm going to read from the Daily Mail, and I sometimes look at their sensationalized side of it, but for the most part, they're reporting things that are accurate. It says the mother of Hunter Biden's child asked an Arkansas judge to have him arrested for failing to fulfill a child support agreement. 34-year-old London Roberts filed an emotional plea to the judge on Tuesday, reopening their child support case against the former first son. It says Roberts settled her claims against Hunter for alleged millions in unpaid child support in 2023, letting him off the hook with a reported $5,000 a month in support payments in an agreement that he would meet with their daughter, then aged 4, and let her pick out some of his paintings. So part of the agreement, if you remember, was Hunter Biden, the artist, would help pay for the child support through his artwork by giving a 4-year-old child paintings and some of his time. Okay. Well, he's apparently doing none of this. The $5,000 a month or the paintings, or I don't even know if they're meeting with him. So now she's going back to a judge and saying he's not doing child support. So Hunter Biden is back in the news. I know that for the most part, they don't jail people for back child support anymore. Like you can be forever back, but this might be a different circumstance because art's involved. And that was such a lame thing to have to request from him to begin with. I think they should come extra hard on him because he's already been given so many chances.
It's like the bare minimum he could be doing, and he's still not doing it. Well, this actually goes to the whole Biden family because they are in some financial trouble now because they can't get a speaking engagement. I mean, who would want to hire Joe Biden to come speak at anything?
Nobody.
At this point.
He couldn't.
Who would want to hire
it?
Jill Biden?
You know, actually, I know the answer to that question, and it's me. I would love to hire Joe Biden to come speak at an event.
Have you looked at the price?
At some point, but I have not looked at the price. But I think that my point is, in light of Hunter Biden here, I think the price is dropping because none of them are making any money. Hunter has said in recent interviews that they don't have any money.
Yeah, that they're broke.
They don't know what to do, and so I'm sure this is related to that.
Yeah, well, I think maybe the best option, do I want to say this out loud? Am I allowed to get in trouble? Can I say this kind of tongue-in-cheek? The best option is Joe Biden shows up for a speech. He's known to trip, and then he sues the venue for their insurance money, and that's how he gets the money he needs for other things.
That's probably
is that a possibility?
Right. No, I think that's a possibility.
I don't want to wish that upon him, obviously.
Hey, wait a minute, Jack. This isn't ADA compliant.
Oh,
How many videos of him? Yeah, there's so many of these instances of him falling over and stuff. I don't even know if he could physically give a speech anymore. Do we know if he is capable of doing that?
I think in the last year he may have done two.
He gave one like right before Christmas.
Yeah, he's very rarely appearing right now.
I think Hunter Biden, he had so many chances in life. And I don't think the pardon covers this child support, right?
No.
Like the pardon that the president gave him.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Man.
Wouldn't that be
but he's got a blanket pardon.
Blanket pardon. I don't have to pay my child support.
Gosh.
You know, Ryan, Annie brings this up pretty often, and I would forget about this fact, except that she is kind of honed in on it. And anytime we talk about this subject, she goes, oh, by the way. And so I'm going to ask you if you remember this, just to see if it's something that is on everybody's radar, or if it's just because, Annie brings it up. But do you realize that the only of the last year, I think, of all the pardons and all the EOs and stuff that Biden signed, the one that he actually signed in person with his own hand was the pardon of his son?
Is that right? Yeah, I think I heard that because that came up. Where did that come up? Donald Trump, I think, said it. He's like, that's the only one that looks legitimate is the Hunter Biden one. Mm-hmm. And it's so ironic because he's, for months and maybe even years, would say, I would never do that for Hunter. And then the only one he personally signs is Hunter Biden.
Yeah, that's very true, too. We forget about that fact that he was like, no way.
Never do that.
And then the only one he actually did. And the rest of them are all super dubious, but he did sign that one.
Yeah. So Hunter Biden back in the news. I wonder if he is going to get served during one of these podcast appearances because I'm guessing he's not getting paid for them.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Would be great.
Oh my gosh! In the middle of the podcast,
that podcast would go viral.
You Hunter Biden, sir? You've been served.
You've been served.
If I was such a sad thing.
Yeah.
Like Joe Biden had a granddaughter he refused to admit existed. It was such a sad, pathetic thing, honestly. And Hunter Biden, the way, and she was a stripper, I think, right?
Yeah.
So the one mom, it's all so crazy. This is a different topic. Bowling Green, Kentucky. Have you ever been there before?
Yes.
No.
I have too. Okay. You know what Bowling Green, Kentucky is known for right now is the highest rates of Ozempic use per capita.
Okay.
Isn't that something? So if you go anywhere in the U.S., they have the most usage of these weight loss drugs. And Bowling Green, Kentucky, I don't know why it's there, but apparently everyone that lives there wants to get thin all of a sudden. So after they stopped looking at where all these shipments are going, per capita, I think it was 4% of the population is on the weight loss drug. That's a lot.
Jeez.
Okay.
4%.
4%. I bet within our lifetime that shoots up to about 70.
You think so? They're just going to
It's just everybody.
import it. They're going to get rid of fluoride in the water, and they're going to put fatbergs around. That's literal fatbergs from Ozempic. Yeah, the byproduct of everyone losing weight. So, what do you think is going to give us more complications in health in the future? And let's put them in the order of what's going to be worse for us, from worst to worst. Sugar intake, Ozempic use, COVID shots, repercussions from these COVID vaccinations.
Oh, my gosh.
What do you think? Which one's going to give us the most long-term problems?
Number
America,
one.
if you had to guess.
I'm
going to say sugar.
I'd have to say
still
sugar
number one.
just because of the pervasiveness
Yeah,
of
it's
sugar.
so pervasive.
But COVID shots are probably up there, man. They've been doing a lot of testing on those.
You think more than the Ozempic type of, whatever they call them, GLP-1 shots?
I don't think those are going to show up that much. Those have been
You don't
around.
think so?
Those have been around long enough now. They're becoming super popular now as weight loss drugs, but they've been around as diabetes treatments for a couple decades now, and they haven't really shown any major problems. I'm not saying they never have anything. I've anecdotally had a friend who had an aunt who had a stomach that really reacted to it badly.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying it's impossible, but I just don't see that being something that pops up later that we all go, oh, now we're seeing the other side of it, because it's been around long enough that I just don't think it will.
The only way that I could see that happening is we've now increased the sample size of people using it, so there's more people that could possibly have negative or adverse effects. But yeah, I think you're on it, Ryan. I think it would be sugar. Sugar number one, because it's so pervasive and it's been there for so long, and we're already seeing the health effects of it. And then it would be the COVID shots, and then Ozempic.
Yeah, I'm really worried about this long-term stuff. And, I've said this for many years. I feel like we're going to get to a point where we're going to have so many people with these type of side effects based on what the government's been pushing that it's almost going to be impossible for the government not to take over the obligations of healthcare. I feel like that's going to push us into a corner. There's going to be so many people, it's going to bankrupt any private insurance that only the United States government could back it. That I'm fearing that's going to happen at some point in the future. It does scare me. Well, I know there's people online that are voting. We're going to have to get those results coming up after the break. Looking forward to that. Not too late for you to go to the YouTube live chat poll and get your vote heard when it comes to the ability for Donald Trump to tariff countries. Will the Supreme Court uphold it? That's the question. We'll take some more of those and the results after the break on 97.1 FM Talk.
Take 97.1 FM Talk with you. The voices you trust, Mark Cox, Annie Fry, Mark Reardon, Scott Jennings, and more are just a tap away with the Odyssey app. Stream 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
At Gray Bar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Gray Bar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from Michael's Bass. You've upgraded the kitchen, you've invested in your home, so why settle for a bathroom that still feels ordinary? At Michael's Bass, they create elevated bathroom spaces that blend luxury, comfort, and smart design, all tailored to the way you live. This isn't a temporary fix or a quick cover-up. It's a complete transformation, built to last and built to add value to your home. And now is the perfect time to plan for a spring installation. Visit michaelsbass.com or call 636-775-0800. Ask about financing options, including 0% interest. michaelsbass.com.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Come a dance, if it's a shan of your Latin. Come a dance, if it's a shan of your Latin. Come a dance, if it's a shan of your Latin. Come a dance, if it's a shan of your Latin. Come a dance, come a dance,
I'm going to need you to translate that for me, if you could, please.
I cannot.
Run from my dog's got a full mouth. I don't know.
I'll take it. We're going to have to get transcribe it at some point, write it down. I think if we do post this video, YouTube attempts to transcribe it, right? Maybe we can see what they post later.
Now they're going to take my suggestion and make it fact.
No, I want to see what they transcribe for your suggestion as well.
Okay.
I know we got a couple minutes here. I saw this one story. The Daily Star. Is Daily Star, I know it's kind of tabloidy, but do they actually post real articles, or is this all junk?
I don't know them.
Daily Star is, it would be like almost the National Enquirer, but I didn't know if they had maybe a step up when it came to legitimacy or not.
Couldn't tell you.
Here's the story that came out there's a man that's gone viral after training a murder of crows, because I guess when you have multiple crows, they're called a murder, to swoop down and take Make America Great Again hats away from Trump supporters. So he trained these ravens to steal hats. And ravens are smart. They know how to do things like this. You can train them.
Yeah.
You ever seen the videos of the ravens? They'll bring money back to people in like exchange for food.
Yeah.
Have you seen people do things like that? Like you can clean up with befriending ravens. So the man has ruffled some feathers, it says in this article, because he trained the crows to swoop down and take these hats. And the reason he did it is because he hates Trump and their supporters. So he says there's no moral obligation for him when it comes to property ownership, because he thinks anyone that would be wearing a hat like that doesn't deserve any type of courtesy.
What a dork.
Yeah, I've seen a lot about this, not this story, but about crows and their ability to do this, and you can train them to get shiny objects, and sometimes it'll be money, and it's cool. And so we told that story to my kids. I think this was a couple Christmases ago. We were talking about this around this time of year, and my daughter, who was probably 7 or 8 at the time, she goes, "Wow, you can train them to do this?" We're like, "Yeah, apparently. I mean, we've never seen it, but you can train them." She's like, "I'm going to do it." And so she went out in the backyard, and there's a picture of her that pops up on my phone every now and then. It's just adorable, of her sitting out in our backyard. All the trees are dead. It's the middle of winter. And she's just sitting out there in our field, just holding her hand up with some seeds. Like, this is how this happens, and I'm going to be patient. And she sat out there for probably 20 minutes and was like, "Never mind."
It's cold.
Yep.
That was a nice 20 minutes, though. Nice and quiet in the house during that time.
It was, and it's so cute, because that's exactly what a kid would think is, "Oh, I could do this? Okay. Well, I'm just going to go out in the backyard, and then a crow's going to fly up and bring me money."
Yep. Well, I want to talk more about the poll questions. So how about we read the results, and it gives us a couple more minutes, because that's such a good topic.
Okay.
Is it too early to close it down? Can we do it now, though?
I'll shut it down.
All right.
This is another one of those polls that is not very balanced. So is the Supreme Court going to uphold Trump's ability to tariff? And overwhelmingly, with 88% of the vote, yes, our listeners believe that the Supreme Court will side with Trump on this.
I'm really surprised about that because the betting odds, if you look at the the different websites that now you can bet on anything, they're very, very against the Supreme Court on this. They think, let me phrase it better. They think that the Supreme Court is something like 75% likely that they will not allow Trump to continue to use the tariffs. Now, every day that's gone by, though, those odds have started to drop in the direction of Trump, where now I don't think it's quite as high as 75%, but it's still over 50% against the Supreme Court saying that he can use them or for that.
I like that it's at 88% and you did not call it the flux capacitor at any point. That I think when you have an 88% of anyone voting in one direction, it has to be a flux capacitor vote. So going back to the Supreme Court, it might be a close one. It might go down to the wire. I don't know how long. You think perhaps Monday, because this whole week they said by Friday. Well, it's not today. And they said that not all the Supreme Court justices were going to be in the office, whatever that means, if they show up or not. So maybe Monday, maybe Tuesday next week. That's going to be a really big story. And
it will be.
I don't know what's going to happen if they take back and say you have to return the tariffs. That's going to be a huge mess if that happens. I mean, the money, is it just sitting in an account? Is it an escrow? Or
I don't think. I think they've gone out of their way to make sure there's no account that you can just be returned.
No kidding.
Yeah.
They're
making
claw
sure
this money back.
Yeah, but it's going to be interesting because Monday is a federal holiday, so I don't think we'll hear anything. On
that's
Monday,
right.
so
Good
it'll
point.
probably be Tuesday. And if we do, I really, really, really believe that a lot of these cases are going to go the way of Trump or of the right, if you want to put it that way. And that's why I thought that this is an opportunity, because John Roberts is that way. He's always, let's try to balance it out. Even he doesn't care about the merits of the case so much. He cares about the appearance of the court. So I thought that this would be one that they would take against Trump, but I'm not convinced that way anymore.
Well, I'm going to be back for Annie Fry on Monday. It's a holiday, so I'm looking forward to that. Brad, if you do sell your iPhone, I hope you don't get mugged for $60, so good luck with that. Ryan Wiggins, it was fun working with you again this week.
Absolutely. See you later.
We have Mark Reardon coming up next, 97.1 FM Talk.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by Ethos.
What to do when you're out to dinner, the time comes to pay the bill, and a person in your party doesn't tip the server.
They only tip, let's say, 10%.
Restaurant coach Izzy Karish says the standard tip for good service is
20%.